Welcome to the Midday Show Market Movers with, I'm your host, Trader Pratt, and we got Arun here. Arun has something special for you guys about the National Day today. Arun, you want to share what the National Day is?
I don't know. What's on the screen?
Let's see. Oh, wait, what is on the screen? I might have misclicked it. What was that? Could you put that back? Put that back, Rob.
It's all good. Whatever. We got it.
I didn't even see what it was.
Guys, I was trying to do something right at the end of the other show. For everyone who's here, what day is it today? I was going to say what National Day is it today? Well, this is what National Day is. Show my screen there, Brad.
There you go.
Everyone needs to know. This is the day. This is what's happening. Brad is going to look like this by the time Valeria gets back. We're going to get him to grow out his hair. He's going to grow out his beard. He's going to look like this guy. Maybe he'd get a little nose piercing done too. Brad, it's going down.
Is that Zayd Malik? Who's that?
It is. But it's going down, Brad. Today is Brad going blonde day, officially. So I'm going to put that out there. So let's start the show off with likes. Before we even get into positions and we start talking about trades, let's just go ahead and get the likes. We need to get 3K done. Anyone who's transferred over, guys, hit the like. Anyone who's lost, I would hope they could look for the show. It's Market Movers. I'm trying to make everything as easy as possible. Go on the show, go on the trader page, scroll down. It's Market Movers. That's the one that's going down. Grab your friends, grab your grandma if she's sleeping, grab your parents. I'm sure your dog and your cat have social media pages. Get their likes too. We need everybody today. We're going to get this to 3K. Now, back to trading. I'll put that on pause. I'll get back to it at some point. And it's going to be a lot more than yesterday too.
Wow,
we are
we're
getting
already
to 3K.
at 1,000.
Are we really at 1,000 already?
Already.
All right. Hey,
1,000.
listen. Yesterday we were sitting at like 3,000 viewers and we got to 2,400 to 2,500. Today we're starting with more viewers, so I think the possibility of getting to 3K is that much faster. Back to trades though, for now. So 4 positions. You can see it on my screen here. On the left, I got 3 longs, 1 short. I've got that square short actually. That was the one I took this morning. So square right into this 120 area from yesterday. So I got 119.96, and we're just riding this thing down. This is sitting on almost $6 right now. Here we are riding this all the way down. First target on square. Here's the other thing too. First target is 112. Further, here's the other thing too with square. Look at what we're sitting on the daily, and this is kind of what I like to do with the analysis of the trades before I pick them. Let me move this chart up here. We were sitting right here. We gapped underneath this 120. So the fact that we gapped above yesterday, put in a low of like 121, and then we gapped below that low, we're kind of just creating a little void there. So I'm going to fade right into that 120, into that 121. My stop on this was like 124, I think, or 124 or 125. And we're just going to ride this all the way down to the bottom end, which is around 110. I'm going to start taking some profit around 112 or so. So that was the read on square. You can also see I've got GM and Palantir. These are carryover trades from yesterday. We were trying to take that 54, carry that 54 long because we were looking at GM long above 54. The trade was still good as of this morning. Obviously, it doesn't look as great right now. So that one's out $1.50, and Palantir was the other one, which I was sitting on from yesterday as well. Same prices. It's set up well. I took the shot just north of 14. Stop on this is south of 1330. So that one's going down. At the moment, good thing we're up deep on square, right? It's covering the hits elsewhere. And the other one, the third one that I've got long is SOXL, which is the ETF, the semiconductor triple bull. And you can see what I'm looking at on the daily, right? We cleared this 48, got somewhat above this level here around this 49. We kind of moved underneath, so I went for the long, and it's still going down. It's not getting helped at all. So I like the trade until this 47 goes. It's out of the money about $1 or so, but we've got some more space. We've got another 70 cents to get it to turn around, so we'll leave it be and see if we can get a turnaround in SOXL.
Awesome. I'll talk about some of the stocks that I had traded today. My number 1 stock today, AMD, but I'll start with PayPal actually. Last night, obviously, PayPal came out with the earnings.
2.9K, bro.
Already?
Yep.
Stop.
2.9K.
No.
2.9K. It is getting
no, it's
done.
at 1.1. It's at 1.1.
Am I watching the wrong show? Yeah, I think I am.
It's at 1.1.
Okay,
no,
my
there's
bad, my
no
bad.
way we had 2.9
Okay.
that quick.
It was
dude.
the I wasn't I was in the wrong chat.
Oh, you had me shook for a second. you had
Well,
me shook
it's
for a
getting
second.
done.
It's getting there.
Yeah.
I know we're hitting
Their
that
show
today.
got 2.9. We were sitting at 1.2 actually.
We're gonna hit there today without a doubt.
Are we?
At
I
this
don't
rate.
know. We've got 3,600 people right now, so we have 3,700. We got to get everybody on it now because people do have to go. Not everyone's in North America. There, people are in other parts of the world that they got to go to bed. So before you go to bed, just hit that like so we can get to Pratt getting blonde here. Very soon.
Record likes are coming in any moment over here. Oh man, I'm sweating already, and the day just started for me. All right, jumping back into the stocks over here. PayPal yesterday obviously came out with their earnings. They missed pretty badly. I was looking for levels to map PayPal, and then obviously we have this gap fill over here near the 140 level or 138 is where pandemic prices, I guess, where post-pandemic prices for PayPal came in, and we rocked all the way to $300. But after the earnings came out and PayPal dropped to $144 and based out near 144, closing off in the after hours at that price, I was like, okay, let's go map for some levels. And I found this gap fill, this emptiness over here, and obviously there's this hidden rule in the market, not 100% guarantee, but the hidden rule basically says that a gap eventually has to be filled somewhere down the line. And if we're close to this gap over here, it just naturally makes sense that we're going to try and fill that gap. So look where the stock opened today, below 140 or around 140, and pretty much close that gap. So if I was to go on the 1 minute or even on the 5 minute chart, pretty much you see how the stock played in those two ranges. Obviously, I was so infatuated with the Google movement and the Google split and everything on that side that I wasn't even, I completely forgot about the PayPal trade over here today, and I missed the opening drive short all the way to 130. But since I did miss the opening short, I wasn't going to miss the opening long, which is basically going long on the levels that I had mapped out on that 129.59 level, which was the gap closing. The stock did go as low as 129 flat today. Me buying shares slightly near 129 itself. Best out near 132. I risked $1 to get $3, which I'll take it. But I was talking to Arun about it, and he was basically explaining to me how these outs could have been taken way better. Maybe one out here. I could have trailed out the other out, and I could have held on to a 10, maybe add back here later on in the day, build a position for this non-stop scalping in front of that gap fill line. I personally don't think we're going to go past the gap fill line today, but if you look at where PayPal has been doing for the all-time chart on the dailies, I think PayPal is getting ready to now go back to this $100 to 120 to 129 range, or even 100 to 120 range could be where PayPal goes to reside in and find support at, and that would basically be the pre-pandemic levels around March, April of 2020. And my number one stock of the day obviously being AMD. AMD killer earnings yesterday, came out with amazing numbers. They jumped all the way up to 130 in pre-market and after hours combined. So obviously I was very bullish about it. I was expecting for a little bit move up, but when a stock is already up 10%, especially a blue chip stock is up already 10%, I can't expect a higher move out of it. And markets was up 1% for NASDAQ, and now we're pretty much flat on NASDAQ and on the ES. So overall that move got reflected into the tech stocks too, which is your Google, which is your AMD, coming to the downside over here. I did get some nice scalp longs in front of 125 and in front of 122.50 is where I'm trying to go long right now. So if I just show you my AMD lines over here, pretty much AMD kind of playing between tried a long in front of 125, which worked out for me. Took a long in front of 123, which worked out for me, and now I'm waiting for a fill near 122.20. Even though I do have a line at 122.50, I guess I'm too hesitant to take this long right now with the market showing me still weakness on it. Arun?
Yeah, you can show my screen. Oh, I was a little busy. Sorry,
This
man.
guy.
I was a little busy looking at the different types of blonde that's available. Let me know what you guys think. I will get to stocks too. My positions are moving on their own, so they can manage themselves. We've got an icy blonde on the top left. We got buttery blonde, champagne, cream, caramel, vanilla, golden, beige, strawberry. I personally think my boy over here is like more of a vanilla / icy blonde. I think that'll work good for him. Let me know what you guys think, what you guys would prefer. Valeria's in the chat, so she can take notes on which one she wants to do when she gets back. And back to stocks, there was a super chat. Bradley, I believe it's one of our offices actually. Bradley asking, I've said that all my setups are mathematically worked out. Could you give an explanation on how to go around this? Or I imagine how to go around doing this. Okay, so let's go to the trade that I've got that's actually deep in the money right now. Square. So I knew, actually let's put up a different chart. Maybe 15 on Square. Yeah, that's probably a better chart to show. Okay, so Square, I knew I wanted to go short into the 120 area, so this area. So if I'm putting up a risk, I got to figure out where is the stop? Where does the stop make sense? I know we've got to clear this 122 to 123 area, so the stop above that would make sense, 124. Okay, so I'm risking about $4 plus slippage, call it $4.50 or so. Can I make $4.50 to the downside? Can I get at least a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio? If this were to work out in my favor, can I get 1-to-1? Where's the closest support point where this stock is going to have a problem if it were to start moving down? And I noticed that we're not really going to have a whole lot of support until we get into this area, which is around this 112, because we spent about, 2 days putting in some highs, early highs in the morning, around that 110 to 112. So I've got clearance for $8 at least for this stock to go down. So I can get 2-to-1 at least on this stock. So I know I can risk the $4 up here against this resistance to go for the short against this support. So mathematically, I know I can get my 1-to-1 back, my risk, whatever risk I'm putting up, I can get that back. And obviously, I'm not going to hold out. Let's just say it doesn't get down there. I'm going to manage this as it's moving, but I'm not fast to move the stop, right? I'm going to be using the 5-minute chart. I mean, a lot of my reads are, or actually all my reads are daily reads, daily zones, with using the 5-minute to figure out exactly where the timing is, right? So once I figure out the timing of it, I'm just going to use the 5-minute. And how am I going to manage it? I've got a bid waiting in front of 112, but at the same time, in the event, and you always have to prepare for this, in the event that this were to just snap back, some news comes out or anything, if it were to snap back, where do I get out? So I'm moving this in a very slow fashion, protecting not everything, but I am protecting some of these gains so that I'm not just giving everything back, right? So right now my stop is sitting, it's a soft stop sitting somewhere in the 16 area, 116, 117. I want to see how it reacts. If it kind of reacts like it's going to go right through it, then I'm going to get out, walk away with my $3, $3.50, whatever. If it doesn't, and it just reverses back, I'm going to give it the space to move around. Right now, this allows me to kind of get into a trade and then kind of sit back and manage it slowly, right? I'm not rushing to move the stop very quickly. It's just one of those things. These are the trades that I like because I know I can get 2-to-1. I have clearance to the downside. I have space for the stock to move. I'm putting up $4. I can get at least 8 before we hit some support. So it's in this case, it's a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio, and I can just kind of be confident in that we shouldn't really hit any turbulence on this short unless news comes out. So slowly manage it, try to capitalize as much as possible. This is kind of in reverse to what Pratt was doing with PayPal. He was rushing his exits after getting a stellar entry, right? So when you do that, you want to sit back a little bit. If you've got a stellar entry, you sit back. In this case, I've got a stellar entry. I went short right against this overnight, I guess, afternoon or aftermarket session around this 121, 122. So I faded right into that 120, and here I am just sitting back, letting it go. And here we are at 112.60. So this trade is now $7.33 in the money, and we're getting closer and closer to our target. Once I get to our target, I get filled, and the stop stays the same, though. I just change the share size on whatever I've got left, and I just keep letting it go. That's it. Nothing else to be done except to just protect as much as I possibly can while allowing it to continue on moving.
All right, jumping right back into AMD over here. So as I mentioned, I was looking for a long in front of AMD for for around 122, 120, 150. That order did kick in, and I'm on Qualcomm over here. Let me switch over to AMD. That order kicked in, but I got stopped out, so now I have a different order to get long in front of another barrier that I'm gonna lean on around 120, 120.50, I believe is where my order is. So we'll see if that one goes to the downside a little bit more. Market showing a little bit of weakness, but not a lot of weakness. So I'm still debating if I wanna go long in front of 121 here. The low of day being 121.10. Quickly glancing back at the market, I think we could take a small trade. No, I'll just wait for my original order that I wanted. I'll stick to that. If I don't get the trade, I don't get the trade. That's fine. No reason to force an entry here just to be in the trade for it. So we'll come back to AMD at a different price point. We'll leave that order hanging out. Something that did get mentioned in the chat was Qualcomm. Qualcomm obviously has their earnings today, I believe. Let me just make sure. I put it over here in the notes. That's a lot of messages. Let me open up the Hangouts instead. Hangouts, there we go. Qualcomm at 4 o'clock today. Perfect. So I did get it right. Qualcomm today. We'll be watching out when the earnings comes out. Obviously, the last time Qualcomm's had their earnings in November, I was watching that too over here. QCOM. Where's Qualcomm earnings in November? Let's go to 1 month and then scroll back. Here you go. Last time their earnings came out, even with the chip shortages and so on, earnings were great. The stock bumped all the way from 159 back to all-time highs. We are very close to all-time highs still. All-time highs being 193, and we're trading around 183. So if a good earnings report comes out, I don't see why the stock doesn't rock right back through all-time highs here and starts making a move. To 190s and so on in the after hours. So your chip makers so far, your AMDs, I think Nvidia is the only one that had a negative earnings. Was it Nvidia that had a negative earnings? No matter who was, no, Nvidia had a good decent earnings too. So all your chip makers are having great earnings over here, even with chip shortages. And you already saw how Apple's earnings played out. So I'm very bullish on Qualcomm there, even though their partnership with I believe it was Samsung. Was it Samsung whose partnership broke apart and now they're going to go with AMD? But whatever it is, their partnership now breaking apart. They might just have to guide lower for the next quarter or so, which might bring the stock down in my opinion. But overall, even with chip shortages, these chip stocks are absolutely booming.
Yeah, chip stocks are definitely moving, and that also means my semiconductor play got blown up. So we are going to walk away from Soxel here. I took the hit. I mean, yeah, it's bouncing now, but at the end of the day, for me, the read on Soxel, I thought I had a decent read, but it turns out I did not. So I walked away from Soxel. Just take the $2 hit, move on. Let's kind of focus and kind of consolidate our gain, or protect as much as possible from our gain by limiting the losses on these other names. Obviously, Soxel was a $2 hit. GM is sitting on 183 and Palantir at 75. Those two plays are from yesterday. But again, the reads are still there, so I'll hold on to them until the stops get hit. But at the same time, I do have to maximize my ability to capitalize on, I guess, on Square. So here we are waiting on Square to kind of get closer to that. It's at 113. I want to get it closer to that 112 so we can actually cash some of this out. But like I told Bradley, I am managing this loosely, but at the same time, I am still managing this position to the best of my abilities without stepping too far in front of this trade. Because, you know, when it moves like this, it needs some space to move around. So we are going to give the space, but I got to be smart about how much space I'm giving it. We'll leave it alone for now, but we're going to go back to the two longs and Square. And T's Trade was asking about AMD support resistance. Okay, let's take a quick look on AMD support resistance on the daily here. It's up 4% today. Damn, 4% today, but that's on a gap up though. Okay. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. Let's do that because that's not a gap up. That's just a straight run in the aftermarket. So here we are. That's probably not the better way to go. I do need the daily. So we have that run up. Okay. As it's coming down, here's what I'm looking at. And this is my personal opinion. Everyone has their own way of interpreting charts. This is my way of looking at it, right? We gapped up. We gapped up twice, actually. Well, 3 times. From the 28th to the 31st, we gapped up. There's a little gap there from 105 to 108. Another gap from the close of the 31st to the 1st. You got 114 to 117-ish, and then you obviously have the run up from, this is on the daily chart, you have the run up to 130 coming back down. So what I would do is look at this area, 116 through 112 seems to be where the majority of volume seems to be. Like there's a decent amount of activity, some previous highs going into late January. You go back in time, you've got October lows before we kind of made that run up to 160. Seems to be around that 120 going down to 118. It's all in the same area. It's a very wide area, but it is in the generally the same area. And then you go back to August, and you have the same little climactic high here around that 120. So clearly 120 going all the way down to 112 is going to hold us some support. It's a wide range, but at the same time, see how it reacts here. I would expect some buying to show up. If you get a decent buy side setup, that's where I'd be looking for picking up along with the 112 area as the stop. So that's your support area, and then the resistance. Actually, let me just draw this out for you guys so it's easier to see on the chart. 112 would be the support point on a move down, and then resistance would be right here. And the reason I say 144, you can call it 145. It's probably better because 145 is more of a round number. For some reason, every fives, so fives, tens, or five, yeah, so fives, tens, and evens. So it seems like those are the big round numbers. 42, 43, 44, yeah, they're round numbers, but they don't hold as much weight when it comes to stops. And in my head, when I'm placing orders or placing stop orders, I want to know where other stops could be potentially sitting. So I'm aware that if we cross a certain area, it could just be a run on stops and not an actual move through the high, right? So I just want to be aware of those kind of areas. So here I am putting at 145, and you can see the resistance here, right? From pretty much from 135 all the way up to that zone, there seems to be a decent amount of action. Every time back in November, when we went all the way up to 154, came back down, came down to 140, okay, and bounced up. So anytime you drop down after a run up and then continue the run, that area where we kind of stop the downward move, that's going to be something of an important area to watch because the market was willing to change directions at that point, and those are the areas I care about. So 140-ish seems to be a problem on the upside. It seemed, and then when we came down all the way down to 132, tried again around that area. It's a wide area again, but it does seem like it's going to be somewhere between 135 to 145. You can even argue 132 to 145, but that's going to be the upside resistance. So it's wide ranges stuck in the middle. We've got some support down below. We've got a decent resistance level up top. And once you get above 145, I think you have at least the 155 and then the highs, right? So for now, I think just keep an eye on those two levels. And before we go back to Prad, guys, hit the like. We are sitting on 1.6K likes. We're about 20 minutes into the show. If we can just get to 3K, Brad. So here's the thing, right? Today we've got a snowstorm coming in, same snowstorm that's been affecting Chicago and the northern part of the U.S. We're getting the rest of that coming in today. So the commute home is going to be a long one. It's not going to be a fun one. And Prad has a long commute home on the bus. So if we can get the 3K likes, he can spend time and trying to figure out. And this is for his sake. I'm trying to do
Thanks,
this.
Thanks for looking out.
I'm trying to get
man.
this done today for his sake, because if we can get this done today, he has a really long time to come up with an excuse to tell his mom as to why his hair is going to be, what was it? Strawberry blonde? No, vanilla blonde, I think it was. Vanilla blonde, or whatever Valeria decides to choose. So if we can just kind of get this done today, he has the time to figure it out. I feel bad for the guy because his mom might throw a slipper at him. I don't know. I've had brown parents. I know what comes. It could be a slipper or something of that sort. So I'd rather just him take care of this today.
I just full exited my trade like a dummy because I was too busy laughing. But no, it's gonna be a fun time. Obviously, we don't know what's gonna happen. He's 100% right, but whatever is gonna happen, it's gonna be a fun time. We're gonna obviously, I think it's gonna happen today. But my trade that I was in an AMD long, and I was just trying to partial exit, but I full exited on this long over here, which sucks. And now I don't know if I have it in me to chase the order back into the entry. Maybe if it drops back down, I'll get back in it. But there goes your market, has reversed from those bottoms a little bit, back to 15K on Nasdaq, going to 45.50 on the ES. Both flat on the day. No real movement in the market just yet. both flat on the day. But it looks like, technically I'm wrong. Not technically, I'm wrong because we were up 1% on the day, and now we're flat on the day. So we pretty much gave back a whole percent move on the market here. And same with AMD, which was up 10% in pre-market. Now we're only up 5%. And so same goes for Google. Even though Google is up right now 6.5%, 7%, we are on a downward trend ever since open. We did make a new all-time high in pre-market itself, but if you even in the open, we opened up in a new all-time high off the open, but ever since then it was just a straight move to the downside, breaking 3,000 barrier, going as low as 29.10 to find support, and now looks like 29.10 giving a double bottom bounce on Google all the way back to the 100 period EMA, sorry, not the day, 100 period EMA, on its way to the VWAP maybe. Obviously, we all know that Google's getting split to 20-1. I was asking Arun a bunch of questions about how that split's going to work. Is it better to buy it now? Is it better to buy it later? And we had some great conversations, so maybe Arun can elaborate whenever he wants to about Google, or if anyone even has questions about that, feel free to ask us. And obviously, you might ask something that I personally don't know, and Arun gets the chance to educate not only you but also me. So feel free to type in those questions. Along with those questions, make sure you hit that like button. If you don't hit that like button, I'm not reading your question. Not like I know if you hit it or not, but I'm not reading your question.
Well, I'll still read the question, but if it's a question about Pratt and his hair color, absolutely, guys. Okay, so we were talking about Google split, right? And I think there's a misunderstanding, and I feel like it's a misunderstanding from a lot of new people, like not new traders, but like people that are new to the markets. They're like, "Ooh, I get 10 times the shares." Here's the thing: market cap is just a multiplication equation, right? It's shares times price equals the value of the company. The value of the company is going to stay the same. So you can play around with the other two numbers. More shares, lower price, or less shares, higher price. That's what you have, splits and reverse splits, right? So in this case, Google is going to put up more shares and go with a lower price, which Apple has done twice in the last less than the last 10 years or
Has
so.
Google done it ever? Or is this their first?
I don't know, actually. I don't think Google has done it, but let me take a quick look. Let's pop over to our e-signal chart. Let's load up the weekly and see if there's any indication. No, nothing in the last. They did something back in 2014.
I see that.
2014 they did one, and then it doesn't look like they've done anything since then. But Google is probably trying to catch up with what Apple did, because remember, Apple was like $1,000 a share or something like that, and then they did two splits, and nothing really changed. The market cap is market cap. It's going to stay the same regardless of whether you go with higher shares, lower price, or lower shares, higher price, right? So at the end of the day, it stays the same. I think people misunderstand what that means. They're like, ooh, it's cheaper. It's got the same value. It just moves differently now. But the thing with the cheaper price is that now it's part of different indexes, right? When you're part of different indexes and you get index followers or index portfolios, they have interest in the name now, more interest in the name now, because now it's within line with what they would like to do. If I can just find it, Google sits at like number 5 or 6 in weighting on the in the NASDAQ, but it sits at number 5 and 6 or something like that, because both share classes are up there. So they have a big chunk of the index because they have two different share classes, right? So when Google does their split, what you may see is that the weighting for each of those share classes might go up now because they're going to be pushed into more indexes. They have more index values. What?
4 is Alphabet A, which is GOOGL, and 5 is GOOG.
So it's number 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 4 and 5 in the NASDAQ in terms of weighting. So you're going to see more interest in Google because it's tradable. Like someone like me who has priced everything out, anything north of like $600 to $700, I kind of stay away from because I can't get a read on the volume. Google looks like this. If we were to show my screen here, and I just showed what Google looks like here, this is what the spread looks like. It's got a $2-3 spread. There's next to no volume at all. And this is what Apple could have looked like if they hadn't done their splits. But this is what Apple looks like. More volume, more trading, more activity, more interest. someone like me, if Google splits, I'm definitely going to start trading Google now because it's within line with what I could do now. And you're going to have a lot more people who can afford the shares too getting involved. So you're going to have a volume spike in Google. I think that's what you're going to see in Google. And as you can see, a lot of my longs are getting crushed here. So I just got out of GM was a loser, and so was Palantir. So we took the hit on GM on the daily chart. What was that? 1454 read. That didn't work out. Yeah, 54. My read on GM was this. We're above 54. Put the stop below 52. We gapped up. Buying into 54 made sense. GM decided that it's not going to do that. So it went right through the 52, and we were out of the long there. And we also took the hit on Palantir for about 80 cents as well. Same read from yesterday. I just carried it over. And so we're going to sit on the square and try to minimize damage as much as possible because we did take what? Soxel, Palantir, and GM hits. But we're okay with Square up $7, and we're getting closer and closer to that winner 112 exit on Square.
Awesome. Yeah. So I was think since you brought up Square, I had actually a point to talk about because I think this obviously you guys know I was so bullish on PayPal near 170, 180, and I was like we got to go back to 200. But I think yesterday I saw something about and the reason why I'm grabbing my phone and I'm looking for my wallet right now too is. The point I'm trying to make is Apple is trying to get into a side of the business where, you know how you go up to a terminal at a retail spot and you tap your card to buy products for like a Square terminal or whatever. Now you don't even need a Square terminal anymore. You could just tap your phone to a bank card, or at least that's what Apple wants to do. They're trying to get into the payment system. They already have Apple Pay. Google already has Google Pay. And if they're going to start giving people access to charging people just with their phone for services, like let's say you get gardening done or whatever, that's less money going into Square's pockets for the little third-party attachment, and less money going into them for the transactional fees. So Apple over there coming in to disrupt Block or SQ as previously known as Square, and that I think is going to be a problem for PayPal as well, because they're going to start coming for PayPal's money too. They're going to start taking money from PayPal's pocket. And Apple apparently, I don't know if you heard about this, but it's coming up with a ring for wedding rings which you can connect you to your spouse and basically rat on you to your spouse, saying this is where this person went. He went here. He went there. He went here.
PayPal?
Apple's making a ring, a wedding ring that tracks everywhere you go and kind of like snitches on you to your, well, it's not like snitching in case if you're not doing anything bad, but it basically tracks everywhere you go. So Apple is just trying to disrupt every market over there, and I think them trying to get into the whole payment business for PayPal, for Square, is not good news. And obviously earnings report coming out bad, down 24%. Sorry?
No, I was saying Apple's taken off to the downside. Market. Oh, somebody was asking me about what I'm doing on the futures. Here's the thing. When I came on this morning, I quickly go over this. I gave you guys the read that I was making, right? It was going to be a short inside of this zone. I wanted, that sucks. But I'll give you the 60-minute chart. Good enough. Yeah, 45.80 is where I was looking to get short. I just wanted, it only made sense to get short up at that price because I would have to put up 40 points in risk. That's like the edge of my risk profile. I don't risk more than 40 points. So if I can't get the price that I want, where I'm already at the edge of my risk profile, I can't take the trade. That's just me cutting myself off from making dumb decisions and risking more than I need to, right? So for me, 40 points is the edge, and everyone should have an edge. Like, you don't risk, regardless of what the risk-reward ratio is, there's like a cutoff point where, like, you know what, this is too much risk, I can't take the trade. And for me, this on futures, I have 40 points as my risk profile, and I've kind of just worked the numbers a little bit and figured out this is my approach to doing it, right? So here we are, missing out on futures, but yesterday we took a quick shot and we noticed that momentum was turning, so we walked away from the short. And today we're waiting for the short, but we never got priced in. And sometimes that's what happens. But here's the thing: you don't have to trade every single day. I think that's a mistake a lot of people make, is that they come in, especially intraday, and as traders, especially on a prop floor and whatnot, we feel the need to come in and execute every single day. Feel like the need to produce every single day. You don't. What you have to do is produce accurately. So if that means trading 2 times, 3 times a a week or two or three days a week, if that's when everything sets up. For me on the futures, I'm very limited because I have one instrument to look at. But in stocks, you have like a ton of stocks. You have how many stocks are there? Like north of 4,000? There's a ton of stocks just in New York. So you can pick something that's setting up, right? And then you just go for it. Just look for the setups, find one or two setups, look for the high quality ones. I personally have 3 setups in the futures, and I just look for those over and over and over again. I find those to be very accurate. And when I find one, I just execute it, right? And if I don't find anything, I wait. I'm looking at one instrument. So the other way of approaching it is to look for 1 or 2 setups across the board, or even one setup across the board on any possible stock that has good volume, decent risk profiles, right? And once you get that setup, you just keep executing because you know the accuracy is there. And I think that's what has to be done more than just trying to execute everything, trying to take everything that's moving. Oh no, PayPal's moving like crazy. I saw PayPal this morning, but here's the problem with PayPal. I stayed away from PayPal. The reason being, it was moving way too fast. Where do I even take that trade? Remember, the way I look at the stock is daily. What does the daily show me, right? We come into the daily and we're opening up at like 140 something. I'm like, okay, so let me go into the 60-minute chart, maybe to see something that I can work with, some levels I can work with. Yeah, I saw this right here, 155. I'm like, this is where we were stalling for the last little bit. If we get up there, I can go for the short. So I put an order up there. Market never decided. Like by the time we were at 8 o'clock, I think we were already at 142 something, right? Or yeah, around that price. Or at 9 o'clock, we were at 142 something. So even if I put the order at 7 a.m., I wasn't getting that fill. I'm okay with that because that's where my entry was, that's where my risk was, and then I can just move on from that if I don't get the fill. There's a lot of other stocks to choose from. I just got to execute the one thing I need to do, and I need to do it accurately. I don't need to kind of just take everything. Momentum here, level breaks there. Focus on 1 or 2 things, level breaks, level plays, whatever you want to do, but just be very accurate about it, control your risk parameters, and everything will be fine. And if you like that little thing there, hit the like, because we do need to get to 3K. We are more than halfway. We're at 1.8K. We've got 3,800 viewers. So there's 2,000 people that have not hit the like. If you're just, let's put it this way. If you're just there and not signed into your account, just sign into your account, hit the like, and then sign back out. Right? I just want the likes. It doesn't really matter how we get there. If you need to, like I mentioned, if you need to get your dog's social media account to hit the like from there. And if you need to wake up your parents, call your school, whatever. We need to get to 3K, guys. We have the ability to get there. We just need to do it today because it is Pratt going blonde day today.
All right, going back into, that's the wrong screen, my screen. Someone asked about Ford in the chat, so obviously let's look at Ford. Ford back down to almost $19, $20 again, one more time. We did get a nice pop on Ford. I guess the news article yesterday, which caused the pop in Ford right here around 1 o'clock was, please correct me if I'm wrong about this number, but I think it's either another 20 billion or another 2 billion. It starts with a 2. I just don't know if there's a 0 behind it or if it's just 2 by itself. But they're adding more money into the EV sector is basically the story behind it. And if that's what they're going to do, more money being put into the EV sector means better for Ford, because soon in the future, you know, everyone really believes that the only route to go for us is the EV route. So with GM going that route, also they had their earnings yesterday too. So GM going that route, Ford also have been in that route, but just ramping up that route a little bit more. Looks good to me. GM actually down on the day, giving back most of his gains, even though we popped up in pre-market thanks to the earnings over there. But now coming to the downside. Here we go on AMD. AMD now going back below 120. Market's making another move to the downside. I should have technically stopped myself out of my trade over here on AMD, but we're going to give it to 120.50, which was our original line over here on the stock. So let me just pull it up on the 5-minute chart, show you where my line is near, wait, what? 120. Let me just go to the yearly then. What was I looking at for was I looking at a different stock? 120.50 right here. Where did my line go? I'm not sure. Maybe I deleted the line by mistake. But I did have a line there for 120.50, which is what we're going to lean on.
All right. Yeah. Come to me for a second.
Yeah.
So Nick was saying He's like, here we go again. He likes you, and he wants you to get an expensive blonde, so he sent in a super chat. So I actually just straight up looked up expensive blonde because I was wondering if there's an actual color. There's an actual color called expensive blonde. So it's supposed to be the new, tipped to be the biggest hair color trend. You are going to be on trend, my man. You love wearing all the stock shirts and, you know, what was the capital? Archegos?
Archegos.
You wear all that stuff. You are on top of it, my man. Based on Glamour magazine, you are gonna be in trend with the expensive blonde. Nick is putting in some work today and some money.
He dropped the $50,
and now another $5.
Time.
He's putting some money to make sure you look nice and fresh.
He's dolling me up. He's dolling me up for sure. That's
all right.
No doubt.
Nick's putting the money. Glamour magazine is setting the trend. You are ready to go, my man. We are going to get you to 3K. We are at 2.1, and we've got a lot of time left. And we've still got 3,800 people. So there's some people that still need to log into their accounts and sign up, or not sign up, but at least hit the like.
Is there any way to anti-bot the like button?
This is not bots. This is people. No. This is people. This is people believing in the message.
I think you paid for a service. Arun.
I didn't pay for anything.
Let me see your bank statements. You paid for a service that charges people for likes. Is that what's going on over here?
Arun should dye the beard blonde to match. This show is not about me, guys. Let's keep it real. This show is about Prad and Market Movers. Market Movers with Prad and Valeria. Valeria's on break, so here I am. But Prad is the host. He is the center of attention on this show, and this man needs to go expensive blonde. Valeria, do you hear that? Expensive blonde. Well, based on Nick, it's actually I can read it to you. Expensive blonde it's not a single. It's a really soft contrast, so there are fewer shadows in the hair, but it's not one set color.
Eyebrows also, says Rachel. Yeah, right. Eyebrows also. I don't know about that. But let's get back to the market a little bit so I can not hear about this dye stuff. I know it's inevitable at this point. I'm going to have to get it done no matter what. So I'll just have to deal with it. Microsoft, something that we haven't talked about, Softy. Obviously, if you're on the morning show, you probably have heard it because Sean loves trading Microsoft. We haven't talked about it yet. It is flat on the day, up 0.4%. High a day being obviously $315. Yeah, what is that? Like, you guys playing a guitar or a ukulele over there? But 315 obviously being the high day, coming back below VWAP, which is currently at 312, slightly below 312. And I'm also seeing rejection of the 100-period EMA on Microsoft. If I was to draw a trend line, is it possible that it is respecting that trend line? In a way, I guess. You know, we'll look to see if it rejects on the way back up here on that trend line one more time. Obviously, your Nasdaq is on a downward descent this whole day today, giving back a 1% move, and so is your ES on a downward descent. Lower lows, lower highs, all the way down below VWAP and flat, but pretty much giving back also another full 1% day over there. Luis Balbuena with the $2 super chat. Prad is our dad. Okay, I'll take it, I guess. Praddy daddy, it is what it is, right? All right, back to Matt, go away from Microsoft. I want to go look at Donkey Kong, DKNG. The reason why I wanted to look at DraftKings is I was looking at the $22 level, which obviously looking at it right now, we're way below it. If you go to the yearly on DraftKings, pull it back a little bit, and look at this level right here near $18, near $20. $20, $21 is where I was looking to scalp that long if we do end up going there. Am I looking at something else now? Am I getting confused? Let me go to I remember now what I was looking at. I was looking at the 1 day chart, and I was looking at yesterday's low right here. So the yesterday's low near 2150. Now I remember what I was looking for. This low over here, looking for a long near 2150, and we're pretty close to it right now on DraftKings, kind of looking like a double bottom also. So here we are. Let me just zoom out. Nope, that's not it. Close this one, line, remove, zoom out a little bit. So dang, there you go. So at that lows, looking for an opportunity to see the weakness slow down, which is basically a red print. I want to see more green start piling in. I want to see the change of sentiment at this low over here near the double bottom being created, and market giving us another nice uptick, possibly giving us a move on DraftKings over here to the north side. So I'm gonna see if I could take an entry on DraftKings, and I'm just gonna take out liquidity for this order, and we'll see if we can get a move up.
All right. Someone's like, "Oh, let's get back to trading." Well, yeah, but we'll get back to trading right now. Actually, but hit the like before we do get back to trading.
I saw that coming. I saw that coming. So
Okay. Square. Remember, we had that 112 as a target. We've hit 112. So as you can see, can you see it? Oh, you can't. So can you move my screen? Yeah, you can see that arrow there at the bottom. That's me getting out on the first half of the position. So we have made I got 1996 and I got out at 12 and change. So I'm making like $8 and change, just short of $8 here on the first half of the position. We're going to manage the rest and we're going to let it go. What other names are moving? Put them in the chat. I'll take a look at them. I know people were saying Tesla is moving. Tesla south of 900. Pins, okay. Neil says pins. Let's take a quick look at pins. Pins going nuts. Oh wow. Okay, pins at 10% on the day. Probably it's at SSR now. What's the daily look like on pins? Ooh, okay. Nearing the lows too. Oh, hello. What? 26. That's it for me on pins. 26 is going to be the entry where I want to go short on pins. That would put in brand new lows. We're SSR, so I guess we're not SSR now. We're at 9.7, so we could be in and out. No, once you activate SSR, it's on, right?
Yeah, it's on for 2 days.
Yeah, so once you activate it, you can come back out of it too, and it'll still be on.
No, it's SSR for 2 days.
No, but like intraday, if you are 10%,
yeah,
once you come back under,
it's gonna stay.
It's gonna stay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so once you're past 26. I think I'm going to step in, go for the short here. Pins, courtesy of Neil. So that's one of those things where, here we go. Add them to the list. Figure out a trade. Let's set an alert. Let's add our alert because, hey, eSignal has an alert system, so why not use it? So 26, and we'll leave it be. There you go. Pins alert. The alert's out on pins. Bradley asking, no, you're not spamming the super chat at all. These are great topics, and I think a lot of people do need to hear the answers to them. Do you think scalping can be a profitable strategy long term, as long as risk reward sets up? Possibly. I don't know because I wasn't really good at scalping. I think it depends on the type of personality you have. I found myself to be a much better risk reward position, build a position, let it go kind of person than to scalp. But I'm sure you could make it work. I personally find with my personality, scalping is very, it's too much. There's a lot of stress associated with scalping, right? Because you're constantly in and out, pricing, adjusting, and I just can't operate like that. I'd rather just, if I need to take a risk, I'll just take the risk, but I'll build up around certain prices and I'll just let it work. For me, that works, right? It all depends on your personality. There's no one set answer. So if your personality can handle the constant in and outs and do well with that kind of flow, then you're going to be stellar scalper. You're going to make a decent amount of money. And if you're the opposite type of person where you need to kind of just look at the chart, think about things, figure out where to go, and you need that kind of time, then what I'm doing would work better, right? And that's the type of person I am. So you'll see me versus Sean. Sean's on top of it, always on top of it, right? So that is just a personality difference. And you got to figure out what fits. And as long as it fits your personality, I think you can do well with it. And I think that's very crucial. And let me go back to the chat and figure out some more stocks. AMC check. Okay, let's take a quick look at AMC. Where is it? Down 5% on the day at 16. First, let's take a quick look at the daily. Yeah, remember when yesterday AMD was popping and I mentioned that, hey, it's in a downtrend. I'm going to look to fade it. Or I was looking to fade it at 1850, and then once it fell off in the morning, I pulled the order. This is the reason for that, right? Any bounce we have, there's resistance coming down from below or from above. So we need to clear the resistance to get going on AMC. Once we do, I'll participate on the intraday side of things. But until that happens, I'm not going to look at AMC. Obviously, it's hitting some zones here around that 15, and we talked about this yesterday as well. We're hitting some support zones. So it could set up a long if we were to say take out the 14, the low of 1350, and then kind of spike back up. That could identify a decent amount of support. That's probably the only two areas I'll play, north of 1850 or south of 14 with the buy side setup. So those are the only two reads that I'm looking for. on AMC, and Square still going. So it's at $8. We're just going to let Square go. There, like I mentioned to Bradley earlier, I'm just going to trail this very slowly. I've made profit on this. I'm doing well, covering the hits from other stocks. Now I just got to maximize it as much as I possibly can. I've already gotten half of it out, so let's let the other half go. As I say that, we are sitting on 2.2K likes, guys. Let's get that up to 3K.
Was that Square entry in pre-market?
Yeah.
How do you like? What is your opinion on pre-market entries for a beginner trader such as myself? Like, I try to stay away from pre-markets, even if there is volume.
Yeah.
Like, I try to make sure 9:30, wait till stocks are open, wait till the imbalance orders go through, and then even after then, I'll wait for like 5 minutes off the opening drive to finish this garbage up and down nonsense, and then I try to take a trade.
So imbalance or not imbalance,
Opening
intraday
drive?
overnights and pre-markets can be very dangerous. Not everyone has access to them, depending on what the broker is and if you have pre-market access. And because of its pre-market low volume, it can become a problem for a lot of brokers. So they just don't allow you to trade until 9:30, until the open. If you do have pre-market access, you got to worry about volume, right? Volume is one of those things. If the stock has done a decent amount of volume, pre-market's just an extension. To me, is just an extension of the trading session, right? So because Square had a decent amount of volume, I don't want to say decent amount of volume, but a decent amount of trading done in this price point, right? Around this 120 area, there was a lot of trading done, right? So for me, the fact that we're still trading in that area in the pre-market and it's setting up on the short side, I like it. I can take that shot as long as the trading is there, as long as the volume is there. And we were in that zone for about 2 days, right? The 31st, we spent the afternoon there. And then the morning of yesterday morning, we kind of dipped down close to that area. And then in the pre-market or the aftermarket yesterday, we kind of worked our way through it. So all of that tells me there's a decent amount of volume sitting there. So if I'm going to get a quick flash, like you were saying, if there's imbalance crosses and all that stuff after 9:30 or at 9:30, why can't I use that to get in if I know there's volume sitting there?
Yeah.
Right? You're essentially pushing the price further than it needs to go right into a resistance zone that I've marked off for the last 3 days.
Yeah.
I should be able to use that and be confident with using that volume to go against this trade. But the dangerous part about that is it's going to run against you very quickly, but you got to be okay with the idea that the zone is there and the setup is there, so it's okay if it goes against you quickly. Nothing's ever going to work out in your favor immediately. If it does, you just got lucky that day. It's happened to me a few times, but most likely the stocks are going to go against you. You can't freak out. You just got to manage it the way you need to manage it. And then the trade is going to work for you or it's going to go against you. You notice that GM, Palantir went against me today. But again, the setups were there and I took them pre-market in the same areas that I've been working the last couple days and it didn't work out. That's fine. But I've got Square and I'm going to manage Square as best as I possibly can.
Yeah, that was that chart is absolutely beautiful, and I can only pray that one day that my charts look like that. I think I maybe had one chart look that clean. There's just one entry and one exit. Obviously, that's the dream for me, not the P&L part, but just having a clean execution, one in, one out, and it just looks like you captured the whole move, and that's skill level that I wanna achieve. DraftKings over here, maybe I can achieve a little bit of that skill level on DraftKings over here. Obviously, you guys saw me take out liquidity on that long. Our average price being $21.77, now 29 cents in the money. DraftKings just clearing north of 22, still going up and above. So market's giving us that nice double bottom on NASDAQ. Same with the ES. We were on a downwards move the whole day, pretty much creating a lower low, lower high. But now for the first time, I think we're going to actually, maybe not the first time, we have actually gone back to VWAP multiple times and rejected off VWAP. So another move back to VWAP over here. Would love for this high to be higher than the previous high, kind of indicating that market don't want to end in the red territories and maybe go sideways during lunch hour. Obviously, volume decreasing during lunch hour. European markets have already closed, and I want to go check if around 11:30. Where is 11:30? Wait, why is my chart only says 10:50? That's weird. That's pretty weird for what my chart only says 10:50. Oh wait, yeah. Well, it's CME time, right? Your futures are in CME time.
It's Central Time, so it's an hour behind.
That makes sense. I was wondering why this doesn't make sense. Now it makes sense. So 10:30 looks like the North American market kind of made a downtick. So my guess is the European markets close on a little bit of a downtick over there, even if they had a green day. Makes sense because the market has been on a downward move. But here we go. DraftKings still moving up and north side. I don't want to exit yet because I want to kind of learn to trade like Arun a little bit. Grow his soak his skill level a little bit. So I'm going to hold on to that trade. AMD, also another trade that we're in the money deep. 65 trades on it the whole day so far. $1.38 in the money. Looking to hold my last 50% of this bag for a bigger move to VWAP, because the first time I kind of screwed up this trade. Let me just zoom in over here. The first time I kind of screwed up this trade, did not exit it properly going on the way to VWAP. Same thing that I did with PayPal over there. So I want to kind of be able to, hone in those required skill levels to level up.
Yeah, I'm just moving my stop on Square. I'm moving it just north of 114. I think at this point we've hit the support level that I was worried about. We're starting to see some buying come in. Not too worried. I'm just going to trail it, right? I've cashed out some. Let's just let the rest go and see if we can cash out in the event it turns. And I was reading the chat. Palantir, everyone sees Palantir bouncing back up. Yeah, your boy got out. I've walked away from Palantir. Yeah, why does this chart do? Okay, forget that. We're going to use my e-signal chart because I can actually move this around. So I was long earlier up here at 1411 using potentially these areas as support, right? And we had 14 and then we had some 1375s, whatever. We lost them all. So for me, if I were to go to the 15-minute chart, the fact that we've cleared all this, to me, hey, I'll walk away from it. I'll take the hit. It's pretty much right where I got out, but I'm walking away from this with a hit. So Palantir, this may be setting up something. Now we've got a failed trade, but usually for me, anyways, the way I set things up, a failed trade could potentially mean another trade in the opposite direction for another day. Today, the way it's trading, I'm not a fan of it, but if we were to take 13 even at some point, whether it's later today or even in the morning tomorrow, there could be a nice little trade towards 12. Given that it's not too far away, I'd be very wary of my pricing, but the way it's moving around could be setting up another trade. And that's the other thing too. Just because you lose on one trade doesn't mean, oh my God, it's over. It's instantly flip. There's two trades around a level, right? For me, anyways, the way I look at them, if I'm marking off a level, there's two trades. I can trade in front of that level, or I can trade when the level breaks. So in this case, let's take a quick look at the futures. Somebody was asking me about my types of trades that I take on the futures. I'll get to that, but if I were to take a shot on the short side on the futures, right? Let's just say we were at 45.80 and we're stalling, and I find the short, and then that short does not work out. We actually end up breaking 46.20. There's another trade to be made. I don't give up on that idea. The initial short may have gone wrong, but the idea of that being a zone, which is what I care about. I don't care about the fact that I'm short. I care about the fact that there's a trade here around the zone, and when the zone breaks, there's another trade to be made, and you just got to flip from one to the other, and you just got to go back and forth. Well, not back and forth, but like from one short to another long, as long as it makes strategic sense. In my case, it would, because 46.20 breaking would clear a lot of this resistance. That means we're above that resistance. That's going to end up being support. I can use that support to springboard this new long higher. So that's the way I approach trades. So a loss doesn't necessarily mean oh no, it's all done. It just means that, okay, there's something else happening. Let's figure out, can I spin this trade around? If I can, we're going to spin this trade around, go for the long, right? So that's what I'm doing here. I am looking at other names here, so we don't really have. If there's anything else that's moving, guys, just put them in the chat so I can actually find some more trades. I've got the Square, but again, like I said, that can manage itself. So we can figure that out. I know Alex Enzo was saying match. I was a little jealous when you said that because you're like match. He cashed out of match. I try to get into match too, but I was waiting below because again, I was telling like Prad earlier, I'm looking for areas of volume, right? On match, it was relatively thin. So what I was thinking is like, you know, this is going to whip around off the open. I'm going to wait close to 106 because I saw around 106 was a decent amount of activity yesterday for a stock like this. And I'm like, you know what? I can get 106. I'm going to put the order out there. I put it out there. yeah, it just went straight up like to like $10. So, hey, Alex, good job on catching that, because I was waiting way too far down, didn't catch that at all. But here we are on Match.com, Match Group. It's topping out around 120. Can we find another trade on Match at some point? 120, no. Why did it stall? Makes sense. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to resistance. I was only focused on the long, but I didn't even bother looking at the short. But the short on Match, it makes sense. You get the double top on the 5 minute around a previous support zone that's broken. You're going to go for the short. That could have been a decent risk reward. You know, you take 120, put up $5, you can make $5 on the downside. Match, a decent trade around that 125 that I did not catch.
All right, going over to, I want to go look at what the volume leaders today are. We are now exactly at lunchtime. So look for volume to start depreciating in the market. But what is actually leading the board on the market today? Look at that. AMD, 100 million shares today almost on AMD. PayPal right after that, 80 million shares. And then we have probably our first low flow of the day over here. OLB. Is it low flow? Let's go verify if it is. Not POLB. OLB. There you go. 3.58 million shares only. So once again, you know, looks like the low floaters are not really having the type of volume that people are used to. But here's one with 214 relative volume. That basically means that in this very minute, OLB is doing 245 times the volume it's usually does. So let's take a quick look at it. It is currently up 24% on the day, going very sideways if you ask me, right? Obviously, we had a nice bump in the pre-market move itself, and ever since the open, we're just holding around VWAP and actually getting rejected from VWAP and holding above the EMAs, which is the 50 and the 100 period EMA. This is the 3-minute chart you're looking at. So OLB, let me also quickly go over here and see if it's on our watch list. It is. OLB Service Company announced that it's achieved an annual transaction volume rate 1.35 billion following CBD merchant acquisition. So they've achieved something that they were aiming for after a merger or after an acquisition, merger and acquisition, which is a $20 million market cap. And that good news, that catalyst, allowing the stock to today be up 23%. And that's the only low float, obviously. We're not going to cover TQQ. We already covered Ford. But let's go look at SoFi, because everything else on that board pretty much has been spoken about. SoFi, the one that no one has mentioned today in chat, surprisingly. I wonder why, because the stock is almost in SSR territory. Actually, I take that back. We were in SSR territory today, which is every time a stock is down more than 10%, you cannot short the stock by just taking out the liquidity off the bids. You have to wait on the offer for an uptick on the stock in order to get short in case you want to short it. Basically, this mechanism stops people from hammering onto the downside in case the stocks are going down. But the same rules obviously are not there for the upside. So SoFi down 8.5% with 47.7 million shares traded, and trying to find support in front of $12, the low of day being $11.90. I think right here where we are would be a great point to start looking for a long, especially if the markets don't go back all the way to the low of day and try to test the low of day one more time. But AMD has retraced quite a bit from those highs near 122.50s where we were just at on this up move. Now we're at 121.70 on AMD, and for PayPal, I don't have PayPal on this screen, so that's AMD. Let's go take a look at PayPal. PayPal also on its move to the downside, continuous rejection off VWAP all day. So obviously one of the trainees who actually, one of our trainees graduated. So Spencer, if you're watching me, hey man, congratulations. I can't wait to grab some drinks and party. One of our trainees graduated. Oh, Spencer. Sweet. Yeah, congratulations to him.
Hey Spencer, can you hit the like while you're at it?
Hit the like while you're at it. Wow. Wow. Sorry? All over the what?
Neil's is sitting in meetings telling our trainees to step on these likes. Guys, we're 700 likes away from Pratt going blonde. Somebody was asking, hey, there's a lot of likes. What's going on? For anyone who's just joining us now, guys, we've got a coalition developing here trying to get Pratt to go dye his hair blonde. Apparently, he put up the challenge a while ago, and he had very little faith that it could be done. because he's like, they're not going to get there. They're not going to get there. And then he showed up, or I showed up, and I found out, and I'm like, okay. And then here we are, not too far away. So we can just hit those likes. Like I mentioned, just let's get it up there. We're 700 away. We are losing viewers slightly. But as time goes on, I understand people got to go to sleep too. But just hit those likes before you go to bed. Dream about them. You can dream about Pride being blonde tomorrow if you want to.
That sounds like a scary
While I've got
dream.
the screen though, somebody back to stocks. Somebody was asking me about they're negative on days like today because the market's choppy. And what do? If you can only go long, and I think if you're not willing to go short. See, here at prop firms, here at the Day Trader World, we just kind of go in both directions, whatever moves. If we need to go for the short, like I am in Square, we go for the short. If there's a long to be made, we take the long as well. If you are only willing to go long, because I understand that being short in your personal account is a high-risk situation, it could, you could get stuck in it, and it could be limited by your capital as well. If you only want to go long, just look at the inverse funds or the inverse ETFs. This is the triple Q or the SQQQ, the ultra short. So when the market goes down, the stock goes up. So if you only want to go long, just find the names that are inversed or the ETFs that are inverses. And the Spiders has one. The market indexes have one as a whole, right? And so does oil futures. So I know oil has one. And gold has one. The miners have one. So there's a lot of ETFs that you can find that are inverse. And if you feel there's a setup for the market to go down, but you don't want to short, find the inverse and go for the long. That way, when the market goes down, you're still making money on it. Or if you want to hedge your position, because let's just say you're sitting on a massive long, and you want to go for. You think the market's going to be there. It's a position, it's a portfolio position, but you want to hedge your position a little bit because you think the market might have a hiccup. Just buy some inverse ETFs in that sector, right? And then that way, in the event the market goes out or goes down, you're still hedged against that risk. So inverse ETFs is the way to go if you're not willing to go short outright. That way, you can still participate by going long, more comfortable for people that aren't used to doing it. And someone else was asking, UPS, is there a trade to be made? The trade was yesterday, unfortunately. It could still come in a few days ago or a few days from now, but the trade was at 220 break. And man, I set the alert, and the issue was the way that the alert system is built in eSignal is that you either have to set up by last price based on the normal trading hours price, and I didn't have the extended hours price. So it broke the 220 in the pre-market after I had looked at it, and then the alert never went off, and by the time I saw it, it was like 225, and I was like, oh, I'm not getting this. And then it just continued its run. So that 220 area is where I would look for longs if you're looking at UPS. Stop is going to have to be somewhere south of 210 because you look at what you have. You have May of 2021, then you have maybe July of 2021, and then you also have October and December as well, all providing resistance, which is now going to be support. So in the event we get that dip back down, I would look at this area for potential longs on UPS. And we're at 2.4K likes, Prab. We're getting closer. We were here at 1:59 p.m. yesterday, and we are at 12 o'clock. So we've still got just under 2 hours to get another 600 likes. So if we can just run that up right now, Pride can have a decent lunch and think about all his excuses that he's got. Pride, it's okay, man. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. I think your mom will understand.
She hopefully
will understand. Yeah, I mean, you can pull it off too.
Yeah.
You just got to grow out your hair.
Yeah.
Grow out the beard a little bit.
Yeah.
And then just go with the blonde hair. Just go with the platinum blonde. I mean, I was saying vanilla blonde, but it seems like the chat wants platinum blonde on you. So
Platinum
blonde on you, bro. So Platinum Prad is going to be in the house.
Platinum Prad.
Hey, that's directly from the chat. Platinum Prad is such a... Isn't it a name that just rolls off the tip of your tongue, guys? That's such a good name to go with. So Platinum Prad is going to be the new host of your show after Valerie gets back. So here we are. Platinum Prad going to Super Chicken. Platinum Prad hosting a show.
Platinum Trader Prad is retired. Now it's just Platinum Prad. PP.
Hey, Platinum Prad might be doing really well. Look about your screen there. I see you $1.70 What are you up on AMD? Oh, 79 cents?
$1.76.
Platinum Prad's already killing it.
Let's go.
I think Platinum Prad's gonna work in your favor. I think this
Yeah.
is the way to go. I think we just gotta get your hair color there.
Yeah, I was just, that's why my face was a little shocked there, because here we go. Look at the ES above VWAP now, 0.5% up on the ES. Your Nasdaq also ripping. Nasdaq getting to a 0.36 now. Good, decent volume candle. Surprisingly, this is lunch hour still, so I'm wondering where this move is coming from into the market. That candle is bigger than the last few candles also, and obviously, as Arun mentioned it, that's gonna take our positions such as AMD and DraftKings to the north side one more time. So I do have my orders 123, 124, 125, just sitting on flat even dollar numbers. We'll see if we'll start getting these outs on the way up on DraftKings. Obviously, I don't have any outs yet. We're gonna wait for the move to VWAP and at least to VWAP to see if we can capitalize on that move also. So market making a nice move north side. Let's go AMD. Let's go look at Nvidia, Microsoft, and all our favorite tech stocks. Let's go. Where's Nvidia? Nvidia up 1% today, whereas AMD is up 5% overall. And on our way to $250, which is where currently the 50-period EMA is, and the VWAP around 252 kind of looks like support. Previous support now could act as a resistance, but looking for a move back to VWAP on Nvidia. Looking for a move. Oh, Microsoft's already a VWAP. I was gonna say looking for a move to VWAP, but we're already there. Can we now break above VWAP and go back to the 313s, 314s? Look at this consolidation resistance area that could act as a barrier if we do get above VWAP, because we did not get a move above 315 today with the opening drive. So the 15-minute opening range would be where is 945, 945 here. So the 15-minute opening range basically from here till here, and the stock is still in the 15-minute opening range right now. So if we do get back into it, I'm gonna guess resistance near the 15-minute opening range, or at least at 313.5.
All right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You got something else?
I was just gonna explain what the opening range strategy is.
Do it.
Yeah, I was just gonna explain what the opening range strategy is. So for anyone, this is one of the most basic strategies out there. Every trader who's learning how to trade at least starts off with this strategy over here. Basically, if you go to the 5 minutes on any stock and you draw a line out from the high of the 5-minute bar and the low of the 5-minute bar, you play the breakout of the 5 minutes. Basically, if you play the breakout of the 5 minute and give it the whole range risk if you want to. I know it's a lot of risk. It's a $5 risk, but if you give it the whole range risk, you basically got another decent $5 move to the downside, a 1:1 play there. That's why I don't like giving it the whole ranges risk. You can modify it based on your needs. That's the 5-minute opening range break. You can do kind of similar over here for the 15-minute range break, which kind of looks way cleaner if you ask me, right? The 15-minute range breaks, comes back in, but eventually breaks later and goes back down. But obviously, depending on how much risk you're giving on the stock past that break, depends on your risk to reward parameters, and that kind of changes everything. But that's a setup right there that I think anyone and everyone can back test easily and find out market environments that they work in. My problem, obviously, with that was stock selection. I always picked the worst stocks to take the breakout in, and the stocks just range traded for the rest of the day. So I kind of just
Did you look at the daily though?
I did, but I always picked the worst. Like, I picked the stock that I thought would gap and go, but they would just gap and trade sideways.
Do you look at the daily first?
When picking the stock?
Yeah.
I do, but maybe I'm not doing it the right way. Like, I do look at the daily when I used to pick stocks and they gapped up or anything. But I was talking to Ed, you know Ed, obviously, and his reasoning why that setup wasn't working for me, or he's like, why are you trading the stock today? The stock is kind of still stuck in previous ranges, or why are you doing this, or why are you doing that? So I kind of just like dumped the strategy and moved away from it. But I would still like to build on that.
Yeah. So what we'll do? Let me just kind of go over a few things, and we'll kind of go through what you were looking at. And maybe we can figure out exactly where the issue is. I think everyone who's new can hopefully learn something from the fixes and the adjustments that are going to be made.
That's awesome.
Before we go through that, though, I want to take a quick look at this chart here. Somebody was asking, when you look at, say, the charts, or multi time frame charts, do I look at pre-market and after hours trading? I do. The reason I care for them is because there's still volume being done, and sometimes there's a decent amount of volume around certain areas. You'll start to identify areas that are going to be problematic once the market opens, right? So even though there's pre-market or after-market hours and the volume's lighter, but there's still some areas, especially when you have earnings come out, right? So in this case, I'm going to go back to Square, and this is the reason why I did the pre-market read here, because the majority of the area or the time spent in the pre-market or the aftermarket yesterday was around this 120. It still sits in the same ranges from the last few days where we had a low close by and a high where we hesitated a little bit before we got through. So for me, when I look at a trade, I'm like, oh, that looks like a great setup. We've cleared some areas on the daily that I wanted to get rid of anyways. And then I look at the pre-market and I was like, okay, you know what? I can time this trade, or I can time the short because of what I'm seeing from the pre-market. So I know there's some volume here. I can trust in the volume around that 121. If I really wanted to get greedy, I probably should have put it closer to 121. But I would rather have the fill with the idea that I have than try to get the most amazing of prices and potentially miss it, right? I'll pay up that extra little bit just to make sure that I'm participating in the read that I've made. There's not that many reads that I have, so let me at least execute the one that I need to make and make sure I get the fill. So for me, Square was based on that pre-market volume and pre-market, not volume, but pre-market trading ranges where I wanted to kind of spend some time. Somebody was asking, SWW was asking, what's the scanner that I use? This scanner, I imagine, is the only one that's got some movement to it. So the software that I've got here, you'll notice that I have got PPRO 8, which is our internal software on these charts here. So these like neon charts here, that's our internal software, right? And then these charts here where I'm kind of going back and forth, the e-signal charts. Okay, so what I use is e-signal, and it looks like something like this, right? I just have this off to the screen, side of the screen, and they have something called hot list, right? You open it up, and it's like a real-time, not just scanner, but I guess it is a scanner. It's just a filter for everything that's moving based on how I want to select it, right? So right now I've got it. This is based on, what is it based on? Trade rate. So the more trades that are sent through per second, the higher the value. And the higher the value is right at the top, right? Right now it looks like Apple, AMD, and Spiders have the most trades going off per second. I can also change that. Obviously, percent gainers, percent losers. Apparently, Boyle is up 20% on the day, up $9 and change. Volume is 3 million shares. So, I mean, I can kind of set that scanner. So this is based on eSignal's own thing. And yesterday someone was asking me, how do you program it? I don't. I'm not smart enough to, so I just use theirs. Right, you pay for the software. It's a great charting software, and then I just use their integrated scanner list as well. And then I think there's something else I actually wanted to ask. I see Joanna made a comment as well. Joanna, I see you're in the chat, and based on the pic that you have there on your icon, it looks like you're blonde. So, your personal opinion, what do you think Prad should go for in his hair color? So I'm very curious to get someone else's opinion that's actually blonde, living that life, what she would prefer on you. Because then we're going to put that with Valeria, and they're going to make their decision. And we are at 2.5K. 500 more likes, guys. And we're going to get there. We're at 3,400 people. You know it can be done. And it's going to be done. And we've still got an hour and 45 minutes to get this done. Yes, you are blonde. Is there a specific type of blonde? Is there, apparently there's like 10 or 15 different versions of blonde. Is there like a number color associated with the blonde that will help Prad make his decision? Actually, he doesn't get to make a decision. Valeria gets to make the decision.
Yeah, me and Neil and I were walking to our bus stops yesterday, or the subway, sorry, and Neil was talking about how the what's it called? The hair color that he tried when he was young turned his hair orange because they didn't know what color to pick, and if your color of your hair is really dark, you could mess it up, and it doesn't mix with the darkness of your hair and everything. So there's actual like signs that you have to go through. I'm thinking maybe not even go through Miss V anymore and actually go to an actual place and get it, because I don't want to end up looking orange. I don't want to come out looking with orange hair, looking like a complete.
Wait. Yeah, the question is, are you gonna do it with long hair? Or are you gonna do it with short hair? Because if you do it with this,
yeah,
then you probably should go somewhere to get it done.
Yeah,
it'll be because
I don't want it in my eyes.
You may have like a bleach scalp.
Yeah,
you may have a bleach scalp if it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
So Joanna says blonde mohawk is what
blonde mohawk.
Yeah, that's what she wants on you. So blonde mohawk is added to the list of potential haircuts and hair coloring that we're going to get. 500 likes away, guys. We're almost there. And what is Square doing? Square is still doing a whole lot of nothing. Okay. Remember, stop on Square is just south, or just north, actually, of 14. So here we are. I'm going to quickly go. So the stop is here. We got as high as, what is this, 113.70. So the fact that it's willing to back away from that 114 means the stop is in the right place. So here we are. That kind of gives me more confirmation that, you know what, I've picked the right level, picked the right zone where my trailing stop should be. So I'll leave this be. I'm more confident with it, and we'll just kind of let it go. I'm still looking for new stocks. I'm still watching this scanner. Is there anything that's going absolutely nuts at this point that I can potentially get in my hands on? Facebook is going straight up, Sean says. Facebook, yeah, it backed off that 324. Okay, it did go. Oh wow, it's from 20 minutes straight up. Oh yeah, look at that.
Wow.
Someone turned on the buy program at 319 and decided to take it all the way to 324. Okay, Facebook. What does the daily look like on Facebook? Can we work with this? Oh, there you go. So it reports. Oh, that would have been a nice
405.
Oh no!
Reporting.
Look at where it was. That would have been a stellar long. Oh, there you go. Sean's got it. But that's exactly where you want to catch that long. Look at that. This is exactly where we're finding a decent amount of previous selling that's going to hold this market up, and Facebook finds that buyer and takes it straight up. So that would have been a nice little trade. I did not because after the gap, not the gap up, but the initial move down from that opening top there, I just kind of walked away from it. Didn't bother even looking at it. But Facebook, nice little long there at 320. I'm looking back at the scanner. What do we got here? Man, nothing. Maybe Roblox down. What is MGI? It's up 7.5%. MGI on fire. Okay, this is what the scanner is useful for. 870 to 946. What does MGI even look like on the level 2? It's new 3.2 million shares. It looks like trash. What? Okay. Is there news? No, nothing that I'm seeing here. Not yet, anyways. But MGI on fire. Anyone who likes momentum, there you guys go. MGI. Pratt, so you want to go through that read that you were making earlier?
Is MGI MoneyGram?
It is MoneyGram.
Gets buyout bid from 3 private equity firms. This was on January 25th.
No, that's not today's news. So
No.
there's got to be something else coming out. It's on fire. It's moving fast. Do you want to go through that read that you
For
had?
sure.
Yeah.
So what I was basically talking about there was the setup, right? The ORB setup.
ORB?
The opening range breakout setup. Is that what you were talking about? Or?
Yeah, that's what you wanted to talk about.
So the opening range breakout, I was basically, I guess, looking at the most volume leader stocks instead of looking for proper gap and goes or gap and fade trades. So I was trading like Palantirs and your stocks that were kind of still stuck in yesterday's ranges.
Yeah.
Right. So
right off the bat, you don't want to trade a stock that's trading within yesterday's range.
Yeah.
Right. So what I would argue would be the easier trade, and as a trader, you're always going to look for the path of least resistance to making money, and breakouts of previous ranges is easier than trying to trade within the range.
Right.
Right. So multi-day breakouts, something where we've been kind of identifying a top for a few days, and the market kind of finally took it out, like that trade on UPS that I was talking about yesterday. If you pull up the UPS chart on the daily, you'll notice that we spent a decent amount of time here trying to take this 320, right? So for the style that you want to take, if you were to take the 220 long, because it finally got above a multi-day or multi-high break, as long as you can make sure that it's not just on stops, then the long is going to work out easier for you than if you were to take something, let's just say, right here. If I were to zoom in on UPS a few days in front, back to the 26th or the 27th, if let's just say I wanted to take that 196 breakdown on the 26th, on the 27th, this day right here, let me pull up the 15-minute chart. 27th? No, that's not it. This day, right? So if I were to look at this day on the 27th and be like, oh, you know what? We just took out 196. That's a great breakdown, right? Like this is the kind of trade that you're like, oh, you know what? This is the easy breakout. I want to take that breakdown level. But what would stop me from taking that though is by looking at the daily. Does that breakdown have space to move? Does it have space to move? If I were to take that 196, look at what you're running into at 193 into 192.50, right? That's going to make you hesitate taking that breakdown specifically. So if I were to filter my reads based on what I'm seeing on the daily, as long as the trade has more space to move, that 196 break, yeah, it broke, but it had very little space to go. Right? So I'd just rule that out, be like, forget it, right? So the 220 break, that's an easy one. Highs, nothing stopping you, no resistance up top. Just make sure it's not on stops, and then you have a clear runway to go. So if you filter the reads that way, I think you're going to have more success that you're taking trades where they actually have space to move instead of just taking trades because they're breaking even numbers just because it's yesterday's even numbers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think that filtering it that way is going to definitely help you out.
For sure, like understanding where people are around, kind of.
What?
Like understanding where people kind of be playing around.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this game is not just a game isolated from other people. You're playing with and against. Well, you're not playing with people. You're playing against every single person, right?
Right.
Every single market is versus someone else. So you just have to play psychology. What would someone else potentially do if this were gone? And you have to think of it that way too, because you're not just reacting to what you would do. Other people are trying to figure out what you would do, because they can, when people talk about stop runs, because someone's searching for stops because they're trying to get someone else to do something that's going to push it so far to the opposite end that they can jump in and get a better price, right? It's a psychology game at the end of the day. People are just using money and shares and prices to kind of play that game.
Fair, yeah. That's very well put there. Going to real quick, I want to talk about some of our super chats. Damian McLaren, I know it's been 16 minutes. I'm sorry. Obviously, just having great conversations here, so we just got lost in the sauce a little bit. Talk to us about hotkeys, obscure but useful ones. Obviously, hotkeys are not relatable to everyone. There's a lot of mobile traders out there currently, thanks to Robinhood, thanks to Webull. They don't really know even what a level 2 is, where Arun's explaining it to us over here, or what a time in sales or time of sales is, right? They just see a fancy pop-up when they buy a stock saying, congratulations, you bought stock. So they don't understand what hotkeys are. Right here, you see those little sticky notes. Those sticky notes actually go all the way up to F1 and F4 too, but because my most gateways are on F1 and F1, F2, F3, F4, you don't see those gateways labeled anymore because obviously I'm just spamming those keys. But and not only there, my keyboard goes as deep as even on the QWER row. I have separate gateways there. I have mid prints, I have inverse gateways, I have dark pull gateways if I want to use, which I've never used, but I have them programmed. And hotkeys basically save lives, right? The quickness, the speed, the velocity that I can, being the gamer I am, the velocity I could throw orders out and without even having to look at my keyboard to think about what kind of key I want to press. I'm just blindly spamming keys all day, looking at my level 2 and seeing what kind of order pops up. So I can just see BATS, ARCA, MEMX, Edge A, BYX, BOSS. I just know exactly what gateway I'm about to take just by clicking on the keyboard. So hotkeys, honestly, if you have the ability to set up hotkeys for your trading platform and trade with the keyboard instead of just using a mobile app, 100% always advocate for that route instead of the other route. Always advocate for the more information and more faster ability to throw out orders route than the slower route. So that's the only thing I can say about hotkeys. And another donation that we got, a super chat 2 minutes ago. I'm just learning to trade the QQQs, adjusting to the higher priced action. How should we go around reading the tape in level 2 on something like the QQQs?
Let me answer that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll answer that. So actually, I want to say something about hotkeys. The reason we prefer our system also is somewhat allowed for mouse trading as well.
It does?
Yeah, it does allow for it because obviously some newer offices that come on board, their traders prefer using the mouse. Right? It's all about personal preference, and the reason I use hotkeys, for one, we didn't have mouse access when I started, and two, it just allows you to be so much faster. This trading is about speed. You need to beat someone else to the shares if you want the shares. It's just straight up about speed, about how you get your shares, what gateways you use. That gets a little bit more complex because you need to understand volume and how gateways run different volumes and the cost structure. But ignoring that, if I just wanted shares and I wanted them now, I'm going to go ahead and send a routing order. I'm going to cross. I don't send market orders. I send like an aggressive limit order. I'll send it like 10, 15 cents above the current offer if I want to buy. And I'll swipe everything from now until 15 cents until I get everything that I want, right? That's just outright speed. I can do that within less than a second if I have a keyboard set up. Now, you can do that as well with the mouse, but what if you accidentally hit it twice? And if you need to confirm your order, then it takes a little bit of time off, right? So for that reason, I prefer keyboard shortcuts, and that's what we have here. Hotkeys just allows you to go fast. Bradley, another question. Bradley, office manager, asking tremendous questions here. So guys, everybody should pay attention definitely to the questions he's got, because he's got traders on his floor, I believe. You're learning to trade the cues adjusted to higher priced action. How should we go around reading the tape on level 2 on something like this? On the cues, don't. Cues, spiders, ETFs that are index based, do not, because their function of the cues is to make sure, we had this conversation the other day, right? Was to keep the price in line with the index, right? If the cues are moving up, it's because the NASDAQ, the futures are moving up together. They need to be in line.
I was wondering about this. So if the futures are a derivative of the stocks, then shouldn't stocks be dictating? Oh, it's not.
No.
Okay.
It's a composite. So what you have is you have a cash basket. So the composite is the
cash basket.
Yeah. So essentially you have a basket of stocks. You take 100 names from Apple to whatever. You give them different weights based on their value, right? You put Apple, Microsoft at the top, and you put some other names at the bottom, and each stock has an individual weight. And then that's the value of the basket, right? So when you see the price of NASDAQ, NASDAQ is above 15,000 today. That's going to be the cash basket. That's going to be the composite part of it. The futures is a derivative. That's a tradable derivative of that. So they've taken it, made it into a contract that expires every 3 months out and allows to be traded on leverage.
Doesn't the word derivative mean that it's deriving off whatever this one's doing first?
It is, but remember, you can't trade the composite. Essentially, what's been done is it's a instrument that's been created.
Okay.
So you can actually trade the index as a whole.
You're trading the ETF, not the composite.
No, you're trading the index. Remember, there's an index, actual index out there called the NDX.
Yeah.
Right? And the NDX is the cash composite.
Yeah.
Right? What you have for the NASDAQ or the NQ is the tradable version of that.
Got it.
Right? There's some cost structures associated with rebuilding a portfolio that's tradable, or in this case, futures. So that allows you to have a little different price. So NASDAQ futures, they move in quarter points. You'll see NASDAQ index, it'll move in whatever, ones and twos and whatever. But the NASDAQ futures as a whole, it moves in quarter points and it's tradable, right? It's a little bit, the price is a little bit different. And then the ETF, they're essentially trying to do the same thing, except one that doesn't expire.
Right.
And because it doesn't expire, you also have a management fee associated with it, because someone's going to be trying to rotate
the shares.
Not just a share, they've got to keep up with the actual adjustments, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to recreate a portfolio, it's your job as the portfolio manager to make sure everything is in line.
Yeah.
And then you have the algos come in that try to keep both of these in line, because if they're not in line with each other, the ETF and the futures contract, then there's space for ARBs, right? Arbitrage. At which point the algos close the gap. So a lot of the times, that's what I was trying to tell Bradley, is that when you see crazy sizes on the cues, some of it could be real, but the majority of it is not going to be real enough, because it's going to be algos trying to push it into equivalence, essentially. They're willing to take the hit because they can instantly hedge it against the futures contract. So they're just trying to keep it in line with each other. So a lot of the times, focusing on the size on these spiders and these index ETFs is a bad idea, and it's going to give you whiplash and a headache, because it's just going to be flying around so fast, right? So for me, I just don't even care what the size is. If I like the futures level, if I like the ETF level, I'll put the order out. Forget the size. I don't really care, right? So just be, it's hard. Level 2 reading is great for stocks, and tape reading is great for some stocks. But on index ETFs, it is a headache because the amount of volume it does and the amount of algo activity you're going to see within the index, because it's not just the ETF. They can also hedge with the NASDAQ futures contracts, and some of them build out straight up portfolios by buying the shares themselves. So it gets very complex, so I wouldn't even bother reading the tape on that. And let's go back to likes. We're at 2.6K, guys. We got less than 2 hours, and we're 400 likes away from getting Pratt to be blonde. We still have 3,200 viewers, so that means it's still doable. 400 viewers need to hit that like. If you need to log in to do that like, just hit it. Pratt is getting closer and closer to getting blonde, and Valeria is in Ukraine. Valeria, if you're still watching, I don't know what time it is, but if you're still watching, can you reach out to some of your family members to just quickly log in and hit that like, because everybody wants to see Pratt go blonde going into Valentine's. Guys, it's going to be Valentine's Day when it's going to be that week. We got to wait for Valeria to come back, but let's just talk about this real quick. Since you said you were going to kind of do this on your own instead of without Valeria, and Joanna has already said mohawk.
We're not getting
blonde,
a mohawk.
Blonde mohawk.
We're not getting
right?
a mohawk.
And Platinum Pratt is already the name that's stuck. So we've chosen the color platinum.
Yeah.
Platinum blonde is what Pratt is going to be going with. He's denying mohawk because he may get kicked out of the house. So unfortunately, Joanna, we may not be able to do the mohawk. But Platinum Pratt on Valentine's Day. Yeah, on the 14th, Valeria's going to be back. She's going to see you. She's going to be like, oh, wow.
Yeah, Valeria, we can make that happen, but we got to hit 3K first, bro. You think we have 400 likers in there?
You mean 300 likers? Yeah,
300 likers?
I think we can get 300. 300 for if you like Platinum Pratt on Valentine's Day. That means he has that weekend to make it happen. And someone was asking in the middle of this, do I have any trades? Nope. Apart from Square, up deep in the money, that's $6.37. It's in the money that I'm still trailing with the 114. It's lunchtime. Futures not high enough for me to take a short, and doesn't look like there's a lot of activity on the majority of the names. I mean, Facebook took off to 324, but apart from that, I'm not seeing a whole lot of activity that I can actually work with. ATI up 17%. What is ATI? Allegheny Technologies. Okay, that's something that's moving, I think. Is it? No, it's just trending up all day and finally coming off. Okay, I can't work with that one. But I'm still looking for names. If you guys can find some names that are moving or setting up, forget about moving. If based on the way I trade, and you guys have watched me for a couple days now, if there's anything that's setting up based on the way I trade, let me know based on the daily. If the daily looks like it's breaking out of something, a multi-day range or something like that, that I can work with today, I'll absolutely take a look at that. Maybe I can actually take some trades there. But in the meantime, I'm just going to look at this like counter. We're still at 2.7K. Guys, hit that like so we can get Pratt to Platinum Pratt for Valentine's Day. Right, Pratt?
Yeah,
Valentine's
for sure.
Valentine's Day, 14th?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Guys, he gave in. He's not even resisting it anymore.
You gotta hit the likes.
He has given in. He has stopped resisting. We have gotten past the point of resistance, just like a stock. Once you get past that point of resistance, it's just clear sailing. It is just a clear sailing at this point. So we are waiting on the remaining 300 likes to get Platinum Pratt in the house on Valentine's Day. First day back for Valeria. She's going to be in for a shock when she sees you sit down.
That was a false break, bro. You only broke by 2 pennies, okay? False break. There's no follow-through for this breakout, no volume behind it. There's no buyer stepping up. The spread just opened up wide. And no, look, the sellers are coming in now.
Really? Because the buyers are still buying more likes right now. We're at 2,800. We're not that far away, Brad.
No,
the finish line is right there. And you know what, though? Here's the thing, too. Sometimes people let up at the finish line. I'm not one of those guys. I've been taught throughout all the years that I've played sport, you keep going until the whistle stops. And the whistle has not stopped. No, well, I don't know about that term, but I'm going to say.
Well, that's from the movie.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going to say for me, though, I am taught to go hard until the whistle stops, and we are at 2,800.
Look at this guy.
Oh.
Look at this
Rob,
guy.
production. How dare you, Rob, not hit the like this entire time? Rob from production just hit the like, finally, apparently. But hey, we're going hard until the whistle stops, and the whistle does not stop for another hour and change. So another 200 likes, and I will stop pushing this hard.
It's getting hot in here. I'm sweating. All right, let's go to the market.
You gave in.
Let's go to the market. Let's talk
talking about stocks. Looks like Square might get trailed out, by the way, at 114. Might be getting hit soon, so I'll probably walk away from Square, and then I'm going to have an entire hour, unless I find a brand new position, to talk about Brad and his blonde hair. Are we at 2.9? Someone said 2.9. No, not yet. We're still at 2.8, I see. I might be wrong. I might be a little laced. Arun posted on Twitter followers to jump on and vote. Unfortunately, Douglas, I am not on social media. I am on the show, and then I have a random LinkedIn page that I don't use. But apart from that, I am zero social media. So you are not going to catch me outside pushing this, unfortunately. I may have to stand in the corner, though. And, well, I can't. I got to be on the show. But I could easily stand in the corner and start putting this.
Flipping the signs?
Yeah, flipping the signs. I will do whatever needs to be done to get this to 3K, because we are 200 short, and I see the finish line. And at this point,
hardest working man in Trader TV right here. If it's not for me going blonde, hit it for this man right here, for everything that he's been doing on the show for this week and also next week for us too. So if it's not for me going blonde, hit it for this guy who's been helping not just me but you guys too, man.
Well, everybody wants to see you.
I'm gonna steal the mic away from you because I don't want any more blonde talk, because this is getting out of hand.
All right, take it. But I will say that I am at a Square now, officially at a Square, as it broke 114.20. So we're fully out of Square. We are flat. We made one. Look at these exits though. Oh damn. These
beautiful.
Charts. Can you see it? Yeah, you can at the bottom. So that's the short there. 112, right around that support zone. I do want to talk about this trade before I give it to you, though,
for
Brad. 120, remember, the reason we took the short was because of that previous resistance. 112 and then 114. 112 was because of this right here. Remember, we were talking about that. No, that's not it. The daily. Let's put up the daily right here. So the short was great based on the previous resistance. And now, as we're coming into that little gap from the 20th to the 31st, I went for the exit there because I figured there'd be some buying around there. So take the $8, roughly $8 on the first half, manage the rest of it, and then you sit back and wait for the market to break a point where it hesitated last time it went up. And I thought it hesitated right around here, right around that 113.50. So I'm like, you know what? If we kind of double clutch here a little bit around this 112, I know there's support. It looks like it wanted to go, and then we finally took out 114. Here we are, walking away from this trade. Even if it breaks down now, I've made what I needed to make, right? $8 or so on the first half, $6 or so on the second half. We're averaging about call it 675 or so on average. And then we're walking away, kind of reducing the damage from General Motors and Palantir from earlier this morning. Also, what was the other one? Where is it? Palantir? And yeah, Palantir and General Motors. So kind of damage control there, but I am still definitely looking for some more trades. Put them in the chat. But before you put them in the chat, hit that like. We're at 100 away. We are at 100 away. We are almost there.
We hit it.
3,200 people, and I just need 100 people.
We hit it. We hit it.
Who said? I don't see it.
The chat's saying 3K already.
I don't see it just yet. But until I see it on my screen, I don't believe it, because as soon as I see it, I'm taking a screenshot, I'm emailing it to Maggie, and I'm emailing it to Valeria, because those girls would not let you live this down. Because in the event that, I won't be here on the 14th, but in that situation, I will remind Maggie to make sure that she sends you an email to Maggie. If you're watching, please hit the like, to make sure that she's on top of this. And Valeria is going to definitely be on top of this, because, hey, you put it out there, it's going down. 100 likes, guys. We got 3,100 people, 3,200 people, and we're 100 away from hitting that 3K marker.
All right.
For Platinum Prad.
for Platinum Prat indeed. We're gonna go right into AMC and meme stocks. So AMC today down on the day, obviously, when the market's flat / on the way to be positive. SPYs are actually above VWAP, whereas Nasdaq is below VWAP on the 3-minute, and AMC over here down 5% at the moment, trying to find support near $16. Lower day.
Boom! Platinum Prat in the house, coming in on the 14th. There you go, Prat. Hey. Brad. Okay, hold on. You take it. I need to take pictures. I need to send proof. I need to do all this stuff.
Pop champagne now or what?
No, we're not popping champagne. I gotta take care of business. Now that it's done, now I gotta make sure that this is gonna be taken care of because this is absolutely nuts, Brad. Because
someone paid for the likes.
No one paid for the likes. You saw the progress.
It was steady streaming
up.
Yeah, buddy. I absolutely love it. Thank you guys so much. I want to see this blonde on his head, man. It's going to be fantastic. Ms. V's going to go crazy about this. Thank you guys so much.
There you go, Neil in the house.
In your face.
Pratt.
Yo, it's too much. It's all the Tim Hortons and the super chickens I buy, and they just stay here at this point.
You're just going to keep piling them up?
Oh, I asked him about the ketchup. He said that he's going to use them at some point. But
it's a currency.
It's a currency, apparently. Anyways.
You're not in prison, bro.
Platinum Prat loves his ketchup. Hey, Platinum Prat, are you gonna ring the bell today? You should ring the bell today. It's a big deal, man.
If there's no trades at the end of the day, I will. If there's
That's
no
fair. I've
trades
said
at the
that
end of the
today.
day, I will.
Okay,
for sure.
Hey, from now on, guys, okay. I'm gonna ask Valeria to say. I guess I shouldn't say that, but Valeria is gonna be calling you Platinum Prat. I'm gonna make sure I'm on top of that. Chat, he's no longer Prat, he's Platinum Prat.
I got too many names now.
Somebody earlier was saying Prat Daddy. No,
I got
he's Platinum Prat.
names. I got Pratty Daddy. I got Platinum Prat. I got Pradley Pitt. I got Pradley Cooper. I got too many names now, but here comes in the money. People are rating in the super chats. You guys are awesome, man. Here we go. Shivam with the $5 super chat. Drift with the $5 super chat. And Rafiq with another $5 super chat.
And shout out to Nick too. Nick put in some Nick,
$50 from Ganguly.
No, 55.
Over there.
55. He put it in twice.
Man,
he put in some work too. So shout out to everybody who's been working hard on this.
Insane. I'll honestly, all the jokes aside, I love the support. I love the camaraderie, the familyness. Even this guy clowning me around the last few days about this 3,000 nonsense, and we actually hit it. So hey, I have to eat my words. I have to own up to. I have to keep my end of the bargain, my end of the deal. Platinum Pride coming
for Valentine's
soon.
Day, yeah?
Platinum Pride coming soon to a YouTube near you.
For Valentine's Day?
Valentine's Day.
So 14th. Sure. Everybody tune in on the 14th.
Just for you, I'll do it. Valentine. I'll book an appointment.
Don't do it for
with
me.
Person.
I'm just here to stir the pot. Do it for the viewers who have put in the work and everybody who's staying up late to get this done.
Oh,
because we've been working on this. Remember when I told you yesterday we were short by 400? I'm like, I'm going to find a way.
That's right. You did it.
We found a way.
You found a way indeed. All right, AMC. So we were talking about AMC finding support at $15.87, slightly below $16. And now with the market giving another push to the north side, AMC moving north along with it. AMD was only $1.60 in the money. Now we're back to $2, back to $3 in the money for AMD. Let's go. And I closed my DraftKings position, I believe, a bit too early. Of course I did. I took my profits on the move down with the market, thinking the market was going to go all the way back down. But then I don't know why I didn't do the same with AMD. I actually held my AMD. So a little bit more conviction on AMD over there than DraftKings. But at the end of the day, DraftKings did exactly what the plan was, which was go to VWAP. And this should have been my target, but I have no size for this one. Let's go take a look at SoFi. Has SoFi moved from the bottoms near $12? It has. Awesome. So SoFi, AMC, DraftKings, all three of them moving off the bottoms. I should have had all three, but I only had two, and I made money on both of them, so I'll take it. And moving away from these ones, I want to go look at the EV sector for a quick minute. Obviously, yesterday, NIO, XPEV, Li Auto, all of them having great delivery numbers, coming out with killer earnings reports. I don't know if they had earnings reports or they just announced the deliveries. Whatever it is, the catalyst over there for NIO, XPeng, and Li Auto allowed them to go to the north side. Today, Rivian, however, actually down 5% with 10 million shares traded on the low, $64.05. So bouncing off in front of $64, attempting currently to go back to VWAP. Obviously, with the rejection of 65 previously, we would like a break of 65 right now with the volume increase. We have another 10 minutes for going into lunch hour to close. So if lunch hour comes to an end, and the volume spike does not show up on Rivian, or we don't take out 66 to the north side, I'm not sure we have the room to VWAP over here on Rivian. Let's go take a quick look at NIO, XPEV, and Li Auto to see if they held any of the move from yesterday. Did not. We're actually down 4%, where we broke yesterday's low too, and we're slightly above yesterday's low, which is currently at the VWAP at $23.84 on NIO. I'm going to expect XPEV and Li Auto to look very similar to NIO over there. So let's the chart load up in a second. Come on, XPEV. Yeah, very similar, but actually not going below yesterday's low for XPEV. And it makes sense because XPEV had a way bigger year-over-year increase in deliveries. It was over 100%, whereas NIO only had about 30%. And the Li Auto, another one which had over 100% delivery rate. Let's see if these guys held up above yesterday's close or yesterday's low, and the answer is yes. So it looks like NIO is the only one over there who didn't go too much far to the downside. AMD now $3 in the money. Still waiting for my exit at 124 and 125 to kick in. We'll see if those could come in at any moment. Not a single red ticker on the day. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 6 on the day, with AMD being the leader for my P&L today. Loving it, absolutely loving it. Platinum Prad coming to YouTube near you on February 14th.
Keep the camera on you, because I got some emails to send.
For sure.
What I mean emails to make sure that this gets done.
It's going to get done. My word is my bond.
So you're saying that I don't have to send these emails out?
You don't have to. My word is my bond. My word is my bond.
All right.
You can trust me that when I say something, I'll do it, even
Okay.
if I don't want to do it. Actually, this is something I want to do, and I have an excuse for it now. So I wanted to get my hair colored, but I was just always scared, being the brown kid I am who lives at home. But now that I don't have to, I could use this as an excuse to get a little out of hand with my hair. Hey, when I got my ears pierced on my birthday, I walked home and Mom was like, "What the heck is that?" And I was like, "Listen, I'm now of legal age. I can do whatever I want. I can get my ears pierced, whatever I want." And my mom's like, "You know what? I kind of like them. They look good on you." So and maybe she'll say the same thing about me being blonde, or maybe she'll be like, "All right, you're disowned. Get the heck out of the door and come back when that's washed out." You never know what's happening until it really happens. So we're just gonna do it and figure it out.
This is gonna sink in when you're on your way home, right? Okay.
Honestly, it doesn't matter to me that much. I'm just making a big deal out of it because it's entertainment factor. It will matter when I actually have it done and I'm going home without telling my mom. That's the day it will matter.
Ooh, Joanna says GWGH. Here we go. Here's a mover. Thank you, Joanna, for that. What is it? Amex? No, it's a NASDAQ, I guess. GWG Holdings. What do we got on news? Oh, there you go. It's on the scanner. Do I have any news on it? This is recent, I think. No, this is just shareholder action. Probably not based on this. Moving fast, too. Okay. No halts, though. Interesting. Keep an eye on this one. Volume is somewhat thin at 1.3 million shares, but it is moving fast. It was there on the trade scanner for a little bit. It has kind of moved off now. Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on this. I don't want to participate just yet, but it is moving fast. So let's take a quick look at the daily. Should I fade this? Should I not fade this? There's some resistance, but we've cleared it. If we get above 6, we may have some space to 7. I don't know. It's on a watch list. I think we're just going to watch it. I'll move it down here, and I'm going to keep an eye on this and see if we can get a trade on this later. For now, though, it's like I'm lost. I have no purpose anymore. What do? I'm out of shorts. I'm out of longs. Futures doesn't want to go up to 80, so I can't even take anything there, and I have nothing.
No,
I don't have to push Platinum Prad anymore. Like, what do I do now?
We need a new goal. Now we need a new goal for maybe 5,000 likes for something else. Arun, are you gonna sacrifice yourself for the Trader TV umbrella?
For what?
I don't know. What are you gonna do for 5,000 likes?
Nothing. I'm gonna make some money. That's what I'm gonna do. If
That's
you like
the right
money,
thing.
get to 5,000 likes. That's what I'm gonna say.
That's the right thing. Fair
Actually, you
enough.
know what? I like food. I'm gonna go get lunch. What,
Yeah,
you cover?
sounds good. Sounds good. What is lunch today?
I think something about I have it here. Hold on. Keep it on me. I will get you the official.
We're gonna find out what the official lunch title is.
explanation of lunch is. Why don't I have it here? But
Did I
maybe
get an
deleted
email?
it.
Did I get an email?
It was something to do with broccoli and cheddar
I did not.
inside of chicken.
Chicken? Okay.
Yeah, it was like chicken wrapped in
Broccoli stuffed chicken.
broccoli and cheddar stuffed chicken with potatoes or something. I don't know. I'll go get it and I'll figure it out.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. All right, coming back to the market, let's see what's moving. Obviously, as Arun mentioned, nothing really going on right now. The market has already given you the opportunities. You would have already had to been in the trades to make any money right now. We're kind of in that time period of the day where we're still waiting for the hedge funds and the big money traders to come back into their seats, sit down, and actually start moving some positions. AMD just kicked me out of my one more exit over here at 124 flat. I'm holding 20% of my original basket. Well, it's not 20% to be honest, because it had a little bit more than let me calculate exactly. For it's slightly above 20, and I think it's like 36% shares left in my basket right now, so I'm just gonna write it off as 20. So we'll see obviously if we could make a move a little bit more to 125 and so on, where I could hold at least 15% shares for the end of the day move, you know, getting into the habit of holding some positions for that big move later on in the day. $3.42 in the money now for AMD. Absolute smoke show on this long. And let's go check out what Microsoft's doing. Microsoft, the fact that we're still not breaking past this 313 over here. You remember I was talking about this 313.15 level on Microsoft, so he hasn't taken that level out yet. Especially when the market has made a nice reversal back to the north, now up 0.73, almost 1% on the ES, which is your S&P 500, another 0.7% on your Nasdaq, which is almost 1%, 0.3 move more required for a 1% move, which is basically where we started the day. We started the day here for the market. We started going to the downside. We were pretty close to flat at one point, even negative, I believe, and now we're almost back to that 1% point. Here comes the Chinese hacking calls asking me about nonsense. So let me just put my phone on silent so I don't have to deal with this garbage. All right, it's a good buy a minor stock day. It's a good buy for minor stocks there. I think that's what you're saying. Palantir, let's go look at Palantir one more time. I believe Sean was trading it and then he stopped because obviously the stock was not willing to hold any levels previously that he was leaning on. So Palantir now down 5% with 31 million shares traded, all the way to $13.20, which is the low a day. Making a pretty decent move back to VWAP, but obviously don't fight the trend is the basic idea behind it, and you don't want to be trying to look for a long reversal all the way back to $14. I don't think there's that move today. We'll look for a move back to at least VWAP to begin with, and then if we break out of VWAP, I'm looking for a rejection around 1380. Let's also zoom back. So here we go, that 1360 even, which is the low from yesterday. So forget 1380, which is where VWAP is. You could pretty much see resistance around that prices. And look at the consolidation on this day, where we went just sideways the whole day after getting an opening drive, which also happens to be near 1360. So all these three key informations, the pieces are standing out to me. That's gonna tell me that if Palantir did not hold up at 1360 on the way down, we're not gonna go through 1360 on the way up. Please look at SoFi for sure. SoFi back through VWAP, beautiful. Obviously, I was talking about a SoFi long near $12 the same way I was talking about a DraftKings long near Where did I get long on DraftKings? Near 2150 or so. So I got that long near DraftKings, almost got $1 per share. If you are holding any, you got to move back to VWAP. And the same setup near SoFi. Let's zoom back a little bit. Can my other charts load up? So this day's opening or low, I guess, opening range / low. These 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock charts are not really loading up for some reason, but pretty much bouncing off of a previous support level near 1150, 1190 today actually. But I do remember seeing SoFi going down to 1150 one of these days and getting rejected. Bouncing off that 1150 level instead. So SoFi here actually making a decent move back, but still down 0.6%. Down 6%, 6.5%, not 0.6, with 55 million shares traded. We're looking for a move back to eventually $15, which is where I would be breaking even on my long-term account. And then the outlook for SoFi, however, the extreme long-term for me, which is 2-3 years out, I'm looking for a move to $50 or even where analyst upgrades to $30 for SoFi.
All right, I'm back. I grabbed my lunch. It was chicken stuffed with broccoli, and it's supposed to be cheddar, but I don't taste the cheddar. Broccoli with some roasted veggies and some potatoes. It looks like they're just like baked potatoes or so, little small ones. That's our lunch, and it's not too bad. But back to the market. I'm trying to find what to do now. What do I do? Somebody was saying I should trade BLND, aka Blondie. Boy, but it's actually Blend Labs. Wait, what is Blend Labs? Is it an actual company that makes hair color? That'd be hilarious. But that's an interesting stock, though. North of $8. Forget the stock itself as like what the company is. Just the chart setup. Consolidation. I like this type of trade where it's consolidation, multi-day consolidation around a specific price. We get above that 8 even. Now we're sitting at 867. I think if it were to come back down towards that 8, that'd be a nice little risk reward, right? You take around that 8 even mark, you put 650 as your break point. You risk $1.50, see if this thing can't go back towards 1050 or 11, right? So that's kind of the read that I would lean on Blonde, or oh man, you got me saying Blonde now, but it's Blend Labs. But yeah, I think that's the read there. I think maybe not today, but we do definitely have to keep an eye on that 8 even marker. And Palantir, Brad, you were talking about Palantir. I got out of Palantir. That was one of the trades that actually didn't work out for me because it was still sitting at that. The reason why it didn't work out, well, I don't know the reason, but the reason why I took the trade is because we were sitting in the same consolidation range from yesterday. It would look like we broke out. Let me get the daily here on Palantir. I thought we got above this 14. I've been looking at this 14 for a while, and I'm like, oh, we finally got that break, and then decides that, nope, we're not done yet. So here we are coming back. I'm like, damn. Okay, so we took the hit. We took the long. We took the hit. It was like an 80-cent hit, 80-something cent hit. And Palantir, one shot, done. I don't have any other trades. I'm still looking at watching the chat for any other stocks that are moving. I know you guys are talking about GWGH, I believe. I've got that down here, sitting at 5E and 503, waiting for it to slow down. It was a quiet mover. In terms of volume, it was sitting on, what is it, like 3,000, 10,000, and then all of a sudden we're starting to get 12,000, no, 121,000, 52,000, 111,000 every 5 minutes. So a huge volume spike, but you see how it's been trading until that volume spike. So let's see if we get some follow through on this on GWGH. In the meantime, though, I am looking at the scanner. Is there anything that's got high activity? Nothing. Let's take a quick look at the chat. Can we take a look at Shop? Sure. Shop is
New York or Toronto?
Yeah, it's dual listed. I was going to say TC, but dual. We're going to look at the one in New York, the U.S. market, not the Toronto one. Let's take a quick look at the daily. What does this look like? Ooh, okay. So instantly when I see a chart like this, what I'm looking for is where's the market hesitating to move, right? As I've been talking about how I kind of set things up, where is it really hesitating? It looks like it doesn't want to get really below 796. So soft stop below 796, get underneath, Maybe if it trades underneath, then you go for a potential short there. But we've been below 800, below 800 by about 20 bucks, and it snapped right back. So we are going to keep a soft stop around that 800 because the market doesn't want to be there. So respect the area where it doesn't want to be, and then to the upside, where does it not want to be? It looks like around here, 1200, right? Because on the way down, it really did try to go up a few times and really got hesitate. Even on the, what day is it, the 19th? We got to bounce off that 1055 into 1120 and then fall back down, right? So that's a problem. That's going to be an area that we can work with. Can we work with shop today? I'm not sure. I don't think there's a position trade. There might be a momentum quick scalp there, but in terms of position with the way I trade, I don't see the reasoning for me to take a shot at this just yet. Maybe if we got close to 800, I could potentially be like, oh, you know what? Maybe there's a nice little long setup right in front of support. I can go for that long. Or even if we broke 800, we broke it, we try to rally from it, nothing, then we can say that, you know what? Buyers got no juice. Let's go for the short. So that's what I'm looking for. Something around this 800 would probably be the best way of approaching this for shop. If it rallies towards 1200, I think there's another trade there from pretty much from 1100 all the way to 1200 if you're willing to play that wide of a range. NASDAQ up 0.75. What is the futures doing? Because I did not realize that we were that strong. 15? Did we rally? I mean, futures are moving up. I noticed that, but we're still about 7-8 points away from the ES getting into a zone where I could potentially start fading, but I need a short setup. But NASDAQ, man, we were up much higher than that, sitting around that 15.1 area. There's some resistance here. I think we need to clear at least 15.2 before we can take a look at those highs and be confident in that setup. What is the daily? Actually, I don't even need to do this because I do have the daily on the NASDAQ. This is the daily that we've got. You got the ES on the right side, NASDAQ on the left. Looks like the ES was bouncing off that 100 DMA level. NASDAQ bouncing off that 200 DMA. Okay. Looks like we're going to get some activity here to the upside, but there is some resistance on both these markets. Until we get to 15.4, there's some resistance on the NASDAQ, and until we clear, it looks like about 46.20. Well, that is a level I'm working with. Until we clear 46.20, there is some resistance up top too. So shorts on a potential fade, if we get the setup against this market rally, would be the way to go. At least that's the way I'm looking. If we don't get that set up, we don't get that set up, and we don't do anything.
I'm just going through, doing a little bit of a Discord moderator duty, and what I see right here.
It's on my screen. It's on my screen. You gotta switch screens.
I'm looking at a bunch of people who are about to get banned from our Discord because they are carrying on this Platinum Prad joke.
It's not a joke. It's real. Stop calling it a joke because it's not a joke. This is coming directly from the viewers. They said Platinum Prad makes sense. And I'm like, you know what? It makes sense. Don't ban people for telling the truth, man. Come on.
No, I'm not bad. I love him. I love Blind. He knows it. I'm just playing with him. I'm not banning him. I'm just going to temporarily time him out. No, I'm joking. I'm not going to do that either. But make sure you join our Discord for some clown action going on in there at all times. You know, people sharing. Here we go. Platinum Daddy is, I guess this is where Platinum Pride comes from. It's Lil Wayne dressed up like as a robot. And talking about being platinum something. I'm not sure. But yeah, go join our Discord. Share some memes. Share some sports betting bets that you have. We all know Mike Crahan over here be betting like crazy that he actually got banned from betting anymore. Now he's going to move over to DraftKings. So more money for DraftKings to steal from Mike and his sports betting. Now he's only allowed to bet $1. Hopefully the SEC doesn't block you from taking too much money from the markets too, my guy. But yeah, do ! Discord. Join up our Discord. Have fun conversations in there. Share some ideas also. Bounce your trading thoughts and obviously be nice to each other. There's no reason to if you have differing opinions, there's no need to go at each other's throats. Be nice. And if you are going at each other's throats, trust me, Platinum Pratty is in there at all times, keeping his eyes peeled.
Just for some inspiration, I'm reading what Brad Warnick wrote for you. Prad, you're blowing up. You can be the greatest trader of all time, but you must dye your hair blonde. This is trader boot camp you're in.
Trader
Think about
boot
that. You
camp.
could be the greatest trader of all time, and Platinum Pride could be the beginning of that story.
That's a new saga.
Hey, man, we saw that trade on AMD. That's a $3 winner on AMD. That's how Platinum Pride does it, guys.
Hey,
See, this is Brad. You're absolutely right. This is the beginning of the ascension of Platinum Pride towards his greatness.
I'm gonna get so superstitious that if I start losing money because I'm not blonde, I'm gonna have to be 100% blonde at all times. I'm gonna get real superstitious from that. So let's not put my mind to that
Maybe
mentality.
Platinum Pride can get out of rule number 1. If you guys remember what rule number
Hey,
1
I was
is,
gonna
you guys
say
were
that, you
watching
stole
yesterday,
it.
and yeah, maybe Pride can finally get out of rule number 1 as Platinum Pride, and we move on to rule number 2. So yeah.
I'll
Right.
take it. I'll
Yep.
take it. Let's go into. I was looking at PayPal. I'm not seeing much going on. PayPal back to the low a day almost. 129.01 being the low a day, which was where we originally went long. We're now back under 130. I believe that 130 level was giving you a decent scalp long every time we did go there, but now we're slightly under it. Looking for some support to come in one more time and take it back to VWAP. But as I mentioned, with Apple coming in and disrupting the whole financial space, or at least that's what their plan is, I'm not sure if PayPal can compete against a brand such as Apple. So, and especially if Apple is going to get into it, then Google is already going to try to battle them. And then if Google's going to battle them, then Microsoft and Facebook is going to battle them. So with all of them coming into play over there, I think this spells a lot of danger for companies like PayPal, Square, even maybe Visa. Like that's danger for even Visa. But I think if Apple does want to go into that side, they might just end up partnering with Visa instead of trying to destroy them, because that's not going to be a good thing. And then obviously monopoly laws are going to probably kick into if Apple goes that far into monopolizing everything. But these are all just theories, no real substantial, article to back me up on any of that. So only time will tell if the theory comes out to that way. So let's move to stocks that are actually moving instead of spitting theories. KSCP. Obviously, what, the stock's back to $10. Yo, this is a buy then, in my opinion. We're all the way back to $10 on this stock. Obviously, a little bit of an overhyped up on not on the IPO day, but the day right after that. Maybe actually on the IPO day too, because I'm seeing on the IPO day we moved from $6 to $20. If that's real, then I guess all the hype was pretty much the IPO day. The second day kind of had a little bit of a hype behind it, and the third and the fourth day, which where we're at currently. So yeah, I guess it was the IPO day, and then we had a little bit more hype on the second day. Third day we had a little bit, but most of it was pretty much no trading happened above $21, looks like, and now we're coming back down to IPO prices near $6, $5 or so. Obviously, if we're near 10, it kind of looks like what's it called, the words I'm looking for. It's kind of in the territory of a SPAC play in a way, right? So if this ends up actually holding up at 10, showing support at 10, and the future is really all about robotics, then this should be a future play in a way, right? So $10 is a no-brainer long. I might just even buy a small starter position at $10 on this stock. There's great upside for KSCP in my opinion, because I think robotics are eventually the future. I'm taking 2,000 on 50K. What 50K? I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about on there. And is Miss V back? She will be back on Valentine's Day, you said?
On the day that Prad comes in as Platinum Prad, which would be the 14th of February.
Yeah.
So Ms. V is back at the same time. She comes back to the brand new Prad, the brand new version of Prad, Platinum Prad. February 14th, everybody. Stay tuned, because that will happen. Somebody was asking, can I trade futures and let us know if I'm taking a trade? Absolutely. So this summary window right here on the left side of the screen, just below the stock window, that's going to have, anytime I take a brand new trade, it's going to show up there. I'm flat. But that's the thing too, right? A lot of times, this is what my trading is like. I get into positions, I position up, I'll manage out, take some profit, walk away. And that's what you saw earlier from Square, and then the hits from GM and Palantir. So that's kind of how I operate. And I haven't taken a futures trade since Monday. Was it even Monday? Yeah, it was a quick trade on Monday, and then and then I took a quick trade yesterday as well for like a few minutes, and I didn't like how it was looking, and I walked away. I just couldn't set it up, so we walked away, and that's the thing. I was telling you guys that I don't have to trade every day. I just got to trade very accurately, right? It's not about quantity; it's about absolute quality. As long as you execute, and this kind of reminds me of something. There's a sports quote, and then you know how people say practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember who it was, came in and said, no, that's not true. It's perfect practice makes perfect.
Okay, I like that.
And that's, I think, I can't remember who it was, but I think that makes so much more sense, because what's the point of practicing if you're not taking it seriously?
Also, if you're practicing the wrong thing the wrong way, then you're not really practicing because you're doing it the wrong way, right?
Yeah, you're developing bad habits and whatnot. So perfect practice, and in my case, or in this case of trading, I think execution of your strategy, figure out what your strategy is, write it down. If you can write it down, if you can quantify what your strategy is, then you have a strategy. If you are trying to explain it, well, it's like this, and if think the stock does this, and maybe it does that, and I think I'll go short, if it does this, and if you need to be able to write it down. There might be too much happening there if you can't write it down. So if you can write it down, then you have a clear, concise strategy, and if you have a clear strategy, it's easier to follow. So I think the very first thing is to write it down and then execute it every single day with the intention of just building up your numbers, meaning how did this strategy do? I want to know what the success rate is. What is the win ratio? What is the sizes? Which part of your strategy does better than other parts of your strategy? So when you do that and you just focus on making sure you get more and more data, you're not worried about the dollar value. You're not worried about all the crazy things that happen with trading as a whole. And then once you get to that point where you've got a solid strategy with a decent win ratio, then you have the confidence to take whatever you need to take, right? You start with a little bit of shares. You understand that, hey, I'm losing a little bit, but it's part of the strategy. Then we continue on. We build it up. We take more shares. All of a sudden, you're multiplying money left, right, and center. And I think that's the way to go when it comes to trading. How do you start off? That's the way to do it. So write it down, and that's like the base foundation for everything. And then somebody was saying, somebody was asking yesterday, is like, I've got $20 to invest. What do I buy? Not a stock. What you got to do is invest it in yourself. So if you want to be a trader, start finding a book to read, like one of these trading books. And when I was at the beginning, I've read a ton of trading books. And I found two books that actually stuck out to me, and I'll just put it out there. One was Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. That's mostly about psychology and trader psychology. So I would read that second. The first book that I would read would be the one from Steve Neeson, the one about Japanese candlesticks. Japanese candlestick charting techniques it's called. You don't need to know the names of all of this stuff. It doesn't really, like the actual candles and their names, I found that I did not care. But the idea behind them, why they look the way they look, the interpretation of, hey, a wick is because the market rejected a certain price. That matters. And when you can pile all that stuff together, I think you are able to kind of create a solid foundation for how you want your strategy to be and approach to be. And then you just go from there and you just get the experience, right? So those are the only two books I would ever recommend. I've read a ton of books too. And the only two books that kind of still stick with me that I found very helpful, one was the ability to understand the charts and what they mean, not just the names of certain patterns, because who cares what the patterns mean? Who cares what the patterns are named? I want to know what they mean in terms of buying and selling and who's stronger. And then the other one would be the psychology book, which would be Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. So the two books that even after this long I stick with, and I think those are the only two books I would ever recommend that I've read. There's some other books that people have mentioned to me. I haven't gotten around to reading them, so I don't know about the newer books, but those are the old ones that I still remember. So Prad, you better be writing that stuff down if you are.
I've already read those books. Yeah, I've read the
read
audio books too.
There you go.
And I'm actually the type of person who I'm not gotten tests for it, but I think I have ADD because my mind is all over the place at all times. So what I actually do is I read the book while I'm listening to the audiobook, and then if my attention starts weaning off the reading, I focus into the hearing, and then I'm right back into the reading. And if my attention goes off the hearing and I'm reading, the attention goes right back into the hearing, and it's like a whole loop of me just soaking up information from one aspect or the other, trying to make sure that none of it escapes because of my ADD or because there's a cute girl sitting in front of me that I can't ask her number or whatever. So
this ties into what Eddie just. I scrolled up and Eddie.
I know I saw
that. Arun, you need to teach Prad.
I saw that.
You need to teach Platinum Prad how to find a girlfriend too. Trading tips are great still, but I don't though, Eddie. Platinum Prad is his own man. He is gonna come out. He is gonna be swinging hard. So here we are. Platinum Prad's already $3.80 in the money on AMD. Imagine if he can do that kind of trades on just on his first day. Imagine the confidence he's gonna have by the time we hit Valentine's Day and he actually lives the Platinum Prad life. He's gonna be coming in fresh. Nobody needs to teach this man anything. He's got the game. He's got the style, and now he's getting the money to back it all up.
We're gonna swang it, baby. You already know it. We're gonna be swanging. All right, let me see. We're going to quickly cover some super chats over here. We were a little behind on it. I apologize on being behind on these. So obviously Miss V is so caught up on super chats. Anyways, Austin with the $5 super chat. Pratty Rose, I love that one. David P with another $5 super chat. This has been a great show. You guys deserve the 3K likes, and I hope the show goes up even more. Thank you, David. Thank you, my friend. Obviously, Arun over here has been, and there you go. Great job, Arun. You're the leader. I will pay for the damn likes if Prad publishes his parents' reaction about the
Oh, please do. That is hilarious. Can you actually do that? Can you actually record this like they do on these live
I don't know if
reaction
my mom
videos?
wants to be on the internet like that, though.
But like, how about the audio? Just the audio.
I could try to do
just
the audio.
Be like, hey, like, take off your hat. Hey, mom, what do you think of this? And just record the audio, even if we can't see her. That's fair. You don't want everybody online,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, I'm just very curious
The audio,
to see.
I think we can do the audio part. But okay, that's an interesting topic. I have to write this down if that's what we're gonna do. Ganguly over here, you're getting fancy. What's that now? 60 bones now that you've sent over to us for this Platinum Prad.
And you thought I was the one stirring the pot. I thought I'm not the only one stirring the pot. Nick is out here throwing some money at it to make sure this gets done. So definitely, Nick Ganguly, definitely putting in some work. He's writing something down. I don't know what you're writing down, Brad.
Record reaction to blonde hair.
Oh, okay. So he's reminding himself that what needs to be done. While you're doing that, Bradley, another question here. How much of your daily SD shutdown, I imagine, do you risk per trade? Okay, so don't do what I do. Mm-hmm. Just because I've kind of fine-tuned it to a point where I'm okay with this, but I put up as much risk as I need to so I can have the ability to make 2 trades per day. When it comes to futures and futures only, because that's where the majority of my risk goes. When I mean majority, I mean like 99% of my risk. So yeah, I risk a lot on any single trade that I take in the futures. I risk about enough to be able to take 2 trades. And the reason I do this my way is because I know that with the strategy that I have, if I'm wrong twice, it means I can't read the market right. And I'm okay walking away after 2 trades. Think about how long a trade takes me. Think how long Square took me to kind of develop out, right? It took me half the day just to work the position into such a situation where I can actually maximize my gain. And futures, that's even more. It takes longer. I might start earlier and I might finish at like 4:15. I'll take however long it needs to take to get the trade done. Like I did with Prad getting blonde hair, I will do whatever needs to be done, but that means I'm also comfortable with the risk that it takes to get it done. So in my case, I'm okay with 2 hits in a row, and I can walk away from this. As a new trader, though, you need to be mentally prepared for, or be able to mentally absorb, psychologically absorb a certain number of hits. And the answer to that is going to be dependent on each and every person. If you have developed a well-rounded system, you know the ratios. As a manager, if you ask your trader, be like, okay, what are the odds of you winning? First off, explain the strategy to me. Okay, great. Now, what are the win ratios? What are the loss ratios? What are your average winners? What are your average losers? I need you to know that. If you don't know that, then how can I trust you to cut yourself off, right? So when I was coming up and Neil was the one managing me, I would have those answers to him. He's going to be like, well, okay, what is this? What is that? I had everything laid out. I put all the data in front of him, be like, this is it. And he just backed away. He let me do my thing. And that allows you the freedom to, you essentially have to prove the fact that you know what you're doing to allow yourself to take that shot. And for each trader as a manager, you've got to figure out what they know, how much they know. And if they can give you good answers, then allow them to maybe put up, I guess it depends on the strategy too, right? But I mean, like, I would start off in allow yourself to make maybe like 3 or 4 wrong trades, maybe even more, 5 wrong trades as a trader. If you're trading my style, if you're trading position trades, if you're wrong 5 times, odds are you don't know the market. Like, the market's disconnected for the day. You are out of touch with the market. So maybe don't go hard that day. Walk away, come back another day and figure it out. But as you get better and better at it, obviously you fine tune it a little bit. But I would argue that definitely go through each and every trader and figure out how much of their strategy they know. And like I said earlier, I want it written down. That way I can also keep you, I can actually keep you in check. Because if I know what your strategy is and you're not following your strategy because you're doing some random stupidness, because everybody does random stupidness, and you're losing money, you're getting shut down when you're not even following your strategy, then I'm going to keep you honest. I'm going to be like, well, now you're going to take less shares, you're going to take less of that or whatever, right? So that way, as a manager, I have proof that I can actually refer back to. And when they follow it, they follow it. If they don't follow it, then they're in trouble, right? So you got to be on top of that when it comes to that kind of approach. And if they've had like a bad run, then at some point we got to revisit the strategy. We know what the strategy is. Let's revisit it, make some adjustments. So on top of that, I would just argue that personally, for me as a new trader, let's just forget I was taking high risk, and I was just starting to take new trades, and I just kind of started. If I'm wrong, like five. What do you think, Brad? When you started off, how often did you find that you were wrong before you started to get upset?
Oh, a lot. When I was first trading, and obviously,
yeah, but how many trades would it take for you to get upset?
Oh, well,
how many losses would it take for you to get upset?
I wouldn't get upset. I would.
Okay, what about discouraged? Be like, oh damn, I'm disconnected.
Oh, the first loss will do that to me. Like, I'll get upset. Yeah, the first loss will make me discouraged. But like, I come from a gaming mentality where the loss does not matter. You're already done. The game's over. What matters is the next game.
Okay.
And do you have the energy to play the next game?
Okay, but at what point do you feel like you don't feel like you're making smart decisions? You're like, oh man, I'm really, even in gaming, you're like,
in that right moment.
After the first trade?
In the moment, like I can feel like I'm doing something wrong.
But that builds up though, right?
Yeah.
At what point is it out of your hands? You're like, damn, like I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing.
In
how many
trade?
trades? No, how many trades?
Like on no stock?
How many losses
general?
would it take for you to get upset? You said the very first one, but at some point it gets even more upset.
Probably like 5 trades in the day, let's say. If I'm about to hit first 5 trades and all 5 are losers, like that will hurt my mental a little bit.
Okay, so in that case, when you use it like that, and Prad's newer, so if you take 5 hits in a row or 5 losses, I think at that point that's your shutdown, right? You should definitely walk away. So if you're allocate 5 trades, 5 available trades for your shutdown before you call it a day and be like, you know what, I'm not having a good day. It's time for me to walk away, right? I think that's a fair, especially for new traders, because Bradley has an office, and I think that's a great way of looking at it, right? For everybody.
I would think so, yeah. Also, like obviously that's the people who have an office and the people who work with the day trade, the world umbrella, and so on. And the best part about it is, even if let's say I'm just throwing out a nice and even number. If let's say you have a $10,000 trading account, even if I lose 1,000 from that 10,000 over the span of a month, I still get to come back the next day of that next month and trade with 10,000 still. Granted that my risk manager didn't cut my buying power, right? So the same leisure or luxury is not for every trader out there, especially for people who are not trading with outside capital. If you're trading with 10,000 and you lose 1,000 from there, you're starting with 9,000. So on that part, when it comes to risk management, of course, you want to be able to have a shutdown on your own aspect. If you're a trader on your own account, you kind of have to do the job of 3 people. You have to be your own trading psychologist. You have to be the trader, which brings in the money. And on top of that, you have to be your own risk manager. And it's not easy being these 3 people at once. You got to You got to learn how to be one person at one time, learn how to be another person another time, and learn how to be the psychologist of your own trading psychology throughout the whole umbrella. Like, I'm my own trading psychology on my way to home, on my way to work, in the morning, every single step of the day. But right now I'm a trader, and then I'll be a risk manager also while I'm trading. But that comes under my studying at the end of the week, where how badly did I blow myself on the risk for some of these trades here? How could I fix myself? How could I do better? So also I have the luxury of, you know, having Arun and Greg over here who are watching my P&L, and they're like, all right, bro, that's stupid. What you're doing over there, that's stupid. You got to fix yourself before that stock messes you up. And that kind of helps me too. So we're in a different state where we get to lean on our shutdown numbers and other numbers that are definitive, and we know that if we hit this number, we're done for the day. But if you don't have that number to lean on, saying that if I lose more than this, I need to stop trading, then you probably just keep on increasing that loss for that day. And obviously, as mentioned before, you don't have the luxury with such as we do, which is going back to that same buying power the next day. If I lose 1,000 today, I still go back tomorrow, start with $10,000. I'm not saying I only have $10,000. The amount of positions I have right now is obviously more than that, but it's the idea that our system doesn't work with your system. You got to figure out what your stop losses are for the day. How much allocation of your buying power do you want to give per ticker? For me, per entry, I give about 10 to 15% of my daily shutdown. So that gives me about 10 trades in a day. And if I'm wrong all 10 trades, then I deserve to be shut down, because I'm most likely not getting that day right. But with my 60% win rate, out of those 10 trades, even if I get 6 of them right and I get a 3:1 average trade out of those 10 trades on 6, and the 4 ones that I lose, I only lose one risk unit, that's a profitable strategy. That's something that I could depend on, like back to back to back every day that I come back. Give 10 trades and risk 10% per trade, kind of.
I mean, here's the other thing too. You said that our system, essentially keeps us in check. That also just means that when you're at home and you have your own account, it does mean you have to be your own risk manager, but at the same time, you have to be honest with yourself.
Yes.
Like that's critical. If you can be in denial and ruin your account. So if you understand, like, it's very hard for me to kind of explain it, because and I've been called this by so many people too, very robotic of how I approach trading, that for me, I'm always going to say, as soon as you get upset, I know for me, it takes a lot for me to get upset, right? So I have a very high threshold for what I can handle before I get upset over something, because it doesn't happen that often. But you have to be honest with yourself, because I know I can be honest with myself.
How long did that take you to get to that level?
Well, and this ties into what someone else was asking yesterday. Arun, have you blown up accounts? Yes, I've blown up many accounts. Listen, it's gotten to the point, it got so bad at some times where I'm looking at a hole that I'm like, can I even ever get out of this? Right? It's like you're trading every time you touch it, you're like, you're wrong. You get in, you're wrong. And then there was like a huge 6-month period where I take futures positions. They weren't huge, but they were like futures positions regardless. And I would always get stopped out right where the market would turn. I'd be in the right direction, but I'd be pushed out of the way of it. And the market would then go the way I thought it would go. And that happened, I would be off by a couple points. I'm not even talking by a lot. I'm talking right at the edges. So that's what got me thinking. I'm like, listen, that means someone, not just someone, but there's something I'm missing. I'm looking at the charts and I'm missing the psychological component that other people are seeing, the bigger players are seeing. So I started to dig deeper into what I thought I was missing, which was the psychological component that people play against each other, especially when you have size. If you have large size, you can play that game. If you have a lot of money backing you, like a lot of these, not just hedge funds, but a lot of these market makers and institutional investors in futures contracts. I'm going to talk about the futures because that's where my experience is. And you can take a ton of contracts. So now I've learned to identify where high volume sits. And, we've gotten to that point. I've put in some work. And now the reason I'm allowing myself like 2 trades per day is because I'm a high risk trader. I'll sit all day waiting for the right setup. And once I go, right? So if you thought I was pushing hard to get Prad blonde, wait, when I get into a futures position, it's on, right? So I don't mess around when I do take a position, but I just got to get to a point where I do take a position. And sometimes if everything doesn't line up, I won't take it. So it's just one of those things. And Bradley Taylor, after hours, what should traders do to improve? Prad, what do you do? While I think about that, what do you do? Like, what do you think you can improve when you're not in front of the screen?
Honestly, I wonder that myself, and something that I have been doing is journaling my trades. Like I type out every single emotion that I went through while I was trading, and stuff like that. I'll move on to me. You can eat.
No. Keep it, because I think that's important.
But yeah, like basically stuff like journaling and being as honest as I can be in my notes to myself in terms of emotional processing, processing the setups, processing my exits and everything. That's one way that I think it is helping me improve my trading. But after hours, you can. There's not one thing. There's so many things in trading that can apply, or other aspects of life that can apply in trading. For example, something that Greg always tells our traders on the floor, there's so much downtime in trading. You could either spend that time on Netflix, watch TV shows like Pratt does, or you could go out there on Google and spend time learning how to code, implementing that new skill set that you just learned how to code, maybe Python or whatever, into making really basic scripts that can help you out. So you can go learn new skill sets, new levels out there, new maybe even workout. Somebody put workout in there. Anything that could help you trading, meditation, reading psychology books, reading self-help books, reading trading books that Arun just mentioned, rereading the trading books you've already read, because our mind, we forget things even though we don't want to, and rereading them just helps you reconnect those neurons and be like, I remember that, and you can reapply that same thought process into your already experienced trader set of skills or whatever. So I don't think there's like one thing. I think like if you're just looking as the goal of bettering yourself better than you were yesterday, even if it's by a small tiny 1%, I think that alone, that goal of trying to be better than yesterday, will automatically put you on the right steps into how to improve yourself. So for example, yesterday on my Google Sheets, I actually spent 3 hours yesterday upgrading my Google Sheets to show me quarterly reports. I did not have quarterly reports this whole time. Yeah. So I actually spent there, I put on a bunch of random cartoon movies and Kanto or whatever Sean told me to watch. I put on this stupid singing, absolute boring cartoon movie, Disney movie, and I didn't see a single part of it. I was just sitting there coding, making formulas and copy pasting formulas all across and testing. Eventually, after 3 hours of doing the whole sheet, I figured it out and it worked. So anything that can help you better yourself, even by 1% a day, is a good thing.
But going back to what Bradley was asking, I think what I found anyways is doing all of that stuff that Pratt's talking about, it's easy to burn out doing that.
Oh yeah.
Right? You can run yourself dry, just continually. Like you're on for 8 hours or 6.5 or whatever hours the market's open. Then you're going home and you're spending another bunch of hours on top of that on your free time, going through the market, trying to figure out, and then you got to go to bed and then wake up again. You got to do this over and over again. So what I would suggest is do that, but compartmentalize it.
Yes.
So that you allow yourself to get a break in there. Like I've said before, that I like to work out. That's my way of stress relief. I start my day with a workout, right? I'm up early. Like if you are a morning person, like I am, then you start your day early. I start with a workout. If you're not, maybe you trade. You go to the gym, do something active, something that helps you stress relief with your stress, and then you go home. You put in some work, you put in some time working, going through charts, what you did on the day, and just like Pratt said, journal entries. I don't like to do kind of going through the journal entries every single day though, just because it's a lot, but I think at the same time, newer traders could get more benefit out of going through their trades for the day, right? My whole thing is if you're taking so many trades where you can't log them, that means you're taking too many trades. For me, I know each one of my reads, so I can explain my reads. So if I go through my journal, I know, oh, this read, okay, this is what I was reading, this is what I thought the market would do, the stock would do, this is what it did. Did I do anything wrong? If the answer is no, if I would look at this chart in 2020 hindsight and do the exact same thing again, then I did nothing wrong. That's just a loss on the system, and that's perfectly fine. That's part of the game. Losses are part of the game that you have to accept. So maybe as a new trader, going through your day after you've gotten some time away from the market to come back, refresh, go through the day, and then go about living your life. But you do have to kind of balance that out. It's a very tricky balance too between putting in work but not burning yourself out. Because I remember at the beginning, I would do exactly what Prad was talking about. It would not be an 6-hour, 7-hour day. We're talking, I was pretty much, in terms of trading, I was doing more off-time screen learning, going through charts and my strategy and developing everything than I was in front of the screen itself. It's like I was playing more, it's like most athletes do, right? They practice way more than they would ever play in actual game time when it's actually time to play, right? So it's just one of those things where you do have to manage that, and it's on you to balance it out and figure out what ratio works, but you do need to put in the work, but you just gotta be smart about the fact that you're not gonna burn yourself out, because it's way too easy to burn out in this industry because it's a heavy on psychology, it's a financial stressor, it's just way too easy, right? And there's too many people playing the game. That means at some point, people gotta get pushed out. And it's always gonna be the people that do something too hard, or it's because they went too hard, putting in, their bets were too big, or they put in way too much work and they just couldn't stick with the stress that comes with it.
Yeah.
Because it is a job.
No,
right?
You're 100% right. I just want to elaborate what you just said. Over here, I actually do my journals every day, and I post it on Discord for everybody to read. And you will notice that there's actually 2 dates missing, which is the 28th of January and the 1st of February. Both of those days, which I was like, I'm so exhausted from doing this. And there's also a running joke that I say with my friends. I really got fired, or I went out of my way to get fired from a 9-to-5 job just so I could work 8 to 8, which is ridiculous. Like a 9-to-5 job, which was guaranteed money no matter what I did. I went out of my way to get fired from that job.
Can you tell me what you did to get yourself fired?
So after I got promoted to being the team lead for the position,
Okay.
I was like, this job is so boring. It's the same repetitive nonsense again and again and again. I'm just gonna give my job to the people under me. I'm gonna start coming into work at 12 o'clock, going out for lunch and grabbing beers during lunch, coming back at 4 o'clock, packing my bags and just out of there. So I basically worked half the time after I got promoted, and I was like, I don't want to work here, and nor am I ready to quit. I
Right.
want to get fired.
You want that severance?
Like I want
that severance. I want that money. This
Yeah.
guy think about money even when he wants to leave.
Yeah, I
okay,
wanna get
smart.
fired.
You got to be smart like that. Okay.
So it happens at the end of the day. They call me in. They're like, okay, we know what's going on. You don't want to be here. You don't have to be here. You can go, and here's your severance package. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, thank you, Jesus. That's the wrap. I took that severance package, put it into my first options trading account. Guess what happened?
You lost it.
Boom! There goes my account. There goes every single dollar that I had saved up.
But let me ask you this though.
Yeah.
Why did you go into options? What made you want to go into options, and why did you put all your money into it?
So I wanted to get into stocks because I didn't want to be somebody else's slave in that sense.
Yeah, but what did you know about options for you to put all your money into it?
But I learned. I picked up a lot of books. I picked up a lot of books, and I attempted to learn, and I attempted to do something which I didn't know. Instead of paper trading, I immediately went into live market, and after one hit after one hit after one hit, within the first month, the rule, 90 people lose 90% in 90 days. In 30 days, I lost 100% of my account. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And the only way for me to figure this out is go learn it again. So this time I went and looked for actually jobs to trade their capital, soak up their information. And a simple Google search allowed me to find this place. And here I am today after 2 years in my journey. So this is it's been such a crazy story to even be a part of. So if it wasn't for blowing up that options account, if it wasn't for me trying to get fired, I don't even know if I would be here today talking to Arun and you know, having fun with a bunch of viewers who are smashing the like button to over 3K now. So what are we at on the like button right now? Let's see. Even though we did hit our goal, and it doesn't hurt to take it a little bit more than that. So what are we at? 3.1K, man. Highest of market history.
There you go. Get it done.
Yeah.
I do want to say one thing, though, and I feel like this comes up a lot too. Dan saying that I'm just superior. I somehow genes, I guess. I don't think that's the way to look at it. I feel like a lot of people look at these guys that do well, like traders, because everyone sees that fancy life, right? Everyone sees that fancy life that apparently trading can get you, but no one ever knows the story that it took to get there. Right? Not everyone's built to do it. Not everyone can step in and just make money from the get-go and just go. So you only ever see people's success, but you never hear their path to success, or you never see the path to success and how tough that road was. I am not built to do this. I was not built to do this at all. Because early on, I realized that, man, I got a lot of characteristic flaws that I need to work on to get it, to figure out how to become a better trader. So you put in the work, and you just got to put in the work, really. Some people are blessed with the ability to just step in and be great. Some people are not. I'm not, but I did put in the work, though. So that's all it takes. You just got to put in the work and find the process that works. And you kind of just continually keep putting in the work and know what your end goal is. You know what you like, what you would like to happen, and you also know what the path to getting there is. You need checkpoints along the way to make sure that you're going towards where you want to be. But at the same time, understand that probably 1 in every million people probably have the actual natural gift to just step in anything and be that amazing. Everyone else has to put in the work regardless of who you think it is. Some people are blessed with the ability to analyze numbers much faster than other people. I remember one guy we had as a trader here he was just stellar at Sudoku, and I'm like, man, I must be stupid because it's taking me forever to figure out the Sudoku, and he would get it done in like a minute. I'm like, this guy's amazing with numbers, right? But I wasn't good at it, but I'm pretty sure that if I put in the work, I could figure it out. But it's just like that. Everyone has a different skill, and not everything matches with the trading. So you just got to really put in the work to get yourself where you want to go, because it's not easy. And I know, like, it's easy to say trading, or it's easy to see trading as a way to get that fancy life, but you do have to give up a lot to get there. And you have to
well
be
put.
Huh?
Very well put.
You do have to give up a lot to get there, and a lot of the times, it's a lot of your time. Go figure. Bradley was saying that he's burning out because he's spending a lot of time between his business and his family, and that's the case, right? It takes a lot of your time. You essentially are building a business, but you're the business. You are the asset. You are building up your company, and the company is you. So you need to work on all the different assets, the facets of this company, to figure out how you can be a better overall, more efficient company and whatnot. So I think it's just one of those things. I saw that. I was like, I used to think like that too, but it's just like there's a lot you don't see. And I remember watching one of these, what are they called? I guess biographies, whatever. It's on Amazon Prime. It's about that Latin singer, J Balvin. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? A boy from Medellin.
Okay.
Right? There's one thing he said.
Good?
It was good. I enjoyed it.
I
There's
wanna
one
watch
thing
it.
he said in it, and I think it's something like this. He's like, everyone sees the glory, but no one ever knows the story.
No, it's good.
And that's exactly it. Everyone sees the glory of what trading on Wall Street is, but no one ever knows what is needed to get to that point, right? And I think that's what a lot of people learn the hard way when they try to get on that path. They're like, oh man, I can't get there. Yeah, you can. You just got to keep going at it.
Yeah, the stories we have on this very floor here are some of my favorite ones. Obviously, I'm not gonna dive into those stories without the approval of the people involved in those stories itself. But it just puts perspective into you. It's like even myself. I was struggling when I was coming into work over here, not even being able to, come into work. And then now I'm at a spot where I'm able to, not even look at a price tag when I want to buy something. I'm not saying I'm making millions and millions of dollars, but I'm in a decent spot in life where I don't have to look at the price tag for, some of the basic items in life, like a headphones or like a cell phone or whatever. So it feels nice coming from all the way from that spectrum to this spectrum. And then that's the thing. Like, people just see dollar signs in their head when they see trading. That's what happened to me. I just saw dollar signs. I was like, I don't want to be somebody's slave. I want to be my own boss. And then the market came in, humbled me, took my money away from me. And I was like, okay, maybe I don't have what it takes. Maybe I am not the child prodigy as everyone kept saying I was. I just need to work harder than the guy next to me. So I worked my butt off, and it's paying off. And I still need to work my butt off even more, because I'm still stuck on rule number 1. So, not being able to go past rule number 1 means we're still not there at the level we want to be in life and in the trading career. So, as Dr. Disrespect says, we're all the way at the top of the mountain. We're at the tippity top, but we're only halfway there. We're only halfway there at the mountain. There's still a long way for me to go, especially if I want to catch up with people like Arun, Sean, Neil, Greg, Brandon. Boy, oh boy, do I have a long way to go. So I for sure, I'm very thankful for to being around these guys, and you guys. If you are thankful for all the information that Arun has been blessing us with this week, and will be for the rest of this week and next week, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. If you're lurking around in the chat, just type in "hey." Even one simple message from you while you're lurking will boost our user engagement, which will then put our channel out for more users out there and grow the community that we want to grow. So even if you're just a simple lurker, smash that like button for my blonde hair, smash that like button for Arun's advice all day, and engage with the chat a little bit so we can get the ball rolling, because we want this YouTube channel pushed out to more and more people. We don't want to plateau. We want to start rocking. There we go. We're seeing some lurkers. Sup, lurkers? Hey, all the new lurkers out there coming in. I hope all of you had a great day. I see Amir. Amir is not a lurker, but always nice to see you out there. Good lurk. We're all counting on you. That's right. We love the lurkers. We love the supporters. Let's keep the community growing until the day stops.
So I was going in the chat, and obviously we're talking a lot because the market's not moving a whole lot. And Mookie's like, let's get back to trading. Mookie, find me some stocks, please. I need to find something because I got nothing. I actually did take AAL. Somebody in the chat put up AAL. I was like, oh, that looks good. North of 17, finally ability to stay above. I think I can put up 50 cents in risk. I got 17.08 long and see if we can get a run towards 18. So apart from that trade, Mookie, I'm looking out for you, man. You wanted some trades. Let's go. I'd like some stocks because I can't find anything that's setting up. But apart from that, I am looking at the chat in the event that something else. Someone said Baba is going. Okay, let's take a quick look at Baba. And apparently the quote that I said Jay Balvin said, somebody mentioned that it was actually Pablo Escobar who said it first.
Ah.
There you go.
They're both from the same place.
Both from the same place.
Both from the same place.
So if that is true, I mean, hey, regardless of who said it, it's definitely a quote that makes you think twice.
Yeah.
Right? So for now, I'm going to stick with AAL north of 17 and see if we can get a run towards 18. That's the only thing I got. We got about 10 minutes left in the show. Guys, we're at 3.2K likes. Thank you so much for getting Pratt Blonde. And then not just getting it to 3K, but getting well past it. And just proving the point that, you know what? It wasn't a fluke. It was not a fluke. We didn't just get to 3K and call it a day. We kept going after that.
Listen. A lot of people use multiple accounts today and yesterday to get this goal achieved. If we hit 3K for like a week straight without people using multiple accounts, then
what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Hold on. What are you doing?
I'm still coloring my hair. It's
okay,
over.
as long as you're trying to find
coloring the hair.
Okay.
But it is still a fluke because this is such manufacturing.
It's
over
not
here.
manufacturing.
This is manufacturing.
You said
of likes.
I was using bots. I don't know how bots even work. Where you even get bots. So
This is manufactured.
this is not
likes.
manufactured likes.
These are synthetic
People,
likes, okay?
listen.
The failure to deliver on these likes is going up because these are synthetic likes over here. These likes are not. We need a like authenticator. No one person is allowed to use more than one account to like. Then only will I say that these shares are real and not synthetic shares. This is nonsense. People are using 5 accounts to like.
They're doing what needs to be done because they
Fair.
feel the need
Fair.
to see Prad with blonde hair. So don't try to discount what has been done today. All
These
right?
dark pool likes, man, they're moving the shares.
Don't discount what's been done today. As I watch AAL come back to 17, they got it done
They did.
on day number 3 of me being here. Day number 2 after me
Wild.
finding out. And just it is what it is, man. Just
It
leave-
what it is.
just leave it be. Accept it. Accept your fate. You cashed out of AMD, yeah?
Yeah, I'm out.
Okay,
I got
so-
stopped out of AMD on the break of 123.50.
Okay, so Platinum Prad is. Oh no! What did I just do? Okay, I should be good. AMD, what are you? Not AMD, AL. What are you doing? This may not be good. That was a weird. Okay, we got to keep an eye on AL. If it can't hold a 17, I may walk away from AL because it is acting funky around this 17 area. Right now we're out 8 cents, but I'll keep an eye on this. I may not even hold on to this if I don't get the reaction I want at 17. This may just be a stop run that I don't want to be a part of. So we'll keep an eye on it. I do like the daily, but it's not looking too great right now. So we may cut this short, not even give it the 50 cents. We may just walk away with like a 10, 15 cent hit. If this loses 17 one more time, we see more selling come in. So for now, we're going to keep on AAL, but we'll keep a close eye on it. Are rockets allowed here? Why not?
Rockets?
Yeah, someone's like, "Are rockets allowed here?" Who's not allowing rockets? Everyone's allowing rockets. Everybody wants to go to the moon. Come
Is
on now, this
there-
market. Like me, I would prefer if this market can just run up a good 15 to 20 points and then start to fade. Then I can step in and go short because it fits my risk parameters. But for now, this market does want to absolutely do nothing. So we've had like what? We went 200 points in 2 days. Let me just pull up the e-signal chart here, the daily. Here we are. The low of the 28th is about 70, right? I remember this trade because I was making some trades around the evens on this day. So we're here at 45.66. So in 4 trading days, we are up nearly north of 250 points. That is a huge run. But even if you exclude the last 2 days, where it's been somewhat quiet, Friday and Monday alone, we put up north of 200 points. So clearly this market's gone up very quickly and it's taken a break, and that's perfectly okay because that just means that the market's allowing itself to get itself together, and then we can continue a move or figure out what the next step is. So a break after 2 big runs on Friday and Monday, I think a break is warranted. So if the market wants to slow down, that means I slow down too, right? I don't take that many trades. I am still looking. What did I do with the ES today? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This chart is blank because I'm waiting up here in the 80s for a potential short, as I mentioned at 9 o'clock when I was on the show. And the market doesn't want to go up there, and we don't have any support levels to work with for long. So here I am waiting. The market's gone in a 30-point range. I'm waiting to make a move so far. So not a whole lot going on. I'm still looking at the chart here, or the chat here, to see if we can find some more stocks, maybe not just AAL, something else as well.
All right. With 5 minutes left, let's quickly do a meme stock recap. Where's AMC at? AMC still holding off in front of $16, not going back to the downside. Beautiful. Let's go, AME. Still down on the day, though, which is, obviously not the best thing to see for AMC. But with the catalyst yesterday and a catalyst today, too, I'm not sure if it was on our watch list. While we're talking about our watch list, let me mention that, too. How could I forget about that? Miss V, man. Obviously, Miss V is on top of the game for about what to talk about I'm on you, sorry.
No, it's on you. Oh, you're trying to show that. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to do one of those things where you try to log in while the camera's showing everything.
Oh no. Watch list. You could sign up for a watch list using Facebook, Google, or any other email address you have, and you can basically get our daily watch list curated to you, our homework, or not homework, but every morning watch list that Brandon put so much work in, and I'm gonna show you to you what it looks like because I don't have an account that I can sign into right now on the go. But this is what the watch list is: OLB, MD, JH, Clover, GM, Facebook, Starbucks, PayPal, AMD, Google, and the stock that I was looking for on there, AMC, it's not on there. So apparently they have some private funding, about 500 million private funding for AMC going on secured. I'm not sure if that's going to dilute the shares. If that dilutes the shares, then the people who already own shares, you own now less shares, and now there's more shares being offered to the public to short. If that's the case, if it's a private funding and there's no dilution coming in, obviously, then it's a whole different topic. I'm just coming up with a theory as to why that could be bad for AMC. Need to do more DD. Need to see if those private shares are actually going into the market, or are they just going to be taken out from the fund and put it directly into the new person who's investing or whatever, right? So be a little careful, AMC. However, because of that news today, down 4.5%, and GME, also another meme stock that we love to look at, should have more than 1 million shares. It does. Beautiful. More than 1 million shares. Almost 1.8 million shares actually going into the last 2 minutes of the market mover show here. Down 6.5%, holding up in front of the low of day is 103, but right now holding up in front of 105 looks like. And if you were to draw a trend line, it wouldn't really matter too much, but it would go something like that, and then you would have to draw another one, maybe something along this line over here at the bottom. But the higher high, higher low on the way to VWAP is the pattern that we are noticing, and we're down on the day for GME. Any other stock that I could pull up real quick? Maybe DraftKings. Let's go take a look at DraftKings. DraftKings did go to VWAP, which was our original target, but then came back down to find support at $22. I like the fact that we're bouncing off in front of $22. Negative 666. Can we see that? Because obviously we see negative 666 at least once a day. We're almost there. Nope. Okay, who cares? Anyway, so down to $22 on DraftKings. Where's SoFi at currently? SoFi made the move to VWAP as we wanted it to, but I'm actually very happy that this one didn't come too far to the downside, actually making a double bottom near $12.20, trying to see if we can get back above VWAP for SoFi. And last but not least, let's go look at Palantir, although Arun has been looking at it all day, so I guess you can just follow those levels from there. And we'll throw it to Arun. Are you looking at anything to wrap off the market
yeah,
movers?
Somebody mentioned Dash, and I realized Dash. Damn, Dash is down almost 9.3, almost 10% on the day. Dash is going to be one to look at definitely for tomorrow, because hey, 120 is going to be a problem to the upside, and I think if we take 104, we're sitting there now, but I want to see the day close out. If we get below there could be a nice little move towards the lows here at 92. So definitely keep an eye on Dash, and whoever put that in the chat, thank you so much, because now I've added that to our my watch list for tomorrow. And guys, this has been a great show. Thank you, Bradley, as well. Thank you guys for spending your time with us, giving us your likes. My name is Arun, and Platinum Prad over there. As of today, he is Platinum Prad. Platinum Prad, new lease on life, new trader as a whole. And on the 14th of February, he will be showing up with his new fresh look to start the week off and start his new life as the baller he will become.
But don't wait until then. Come back tomorrow, same time, same place, 11 o'clock. Until then, Arun, high five. Paka paka. Take care, guys.
Welcome to the close, 2 p.m. Guys, we got 2 hours left in what has been a fairly positive trading session here. We're coming up to markets highs almost on the session. Here's a look at how things stand as we head towards the close today. 0.73% there for the S&P, 0.4 for the Dow, the NASDAQ about 0.5%.